Hi, hello, La Version Night, hello, Lou, and hello, Kamari. Welcome. How are you doing? Hi. Hope you're doing great. Hello, Mini Bells. Welcome. Hi. Today we have so many videos to react to. People have been really, what is the word that I'm looking for? Really passionate, really diligent. I don't know. There's a lot of suggestions for today, so yeah, I'm really excited about it. And most of the videos are really long. So this is probably gonna be one of those streams that are a little longer than usual, but we'll try to make it work. Yeah, say Lou. Oh yeah, thank God. Thank you. Hi. Hola, Kat. Oh, hello, Laser. Good day. Every time someone reads my name for the first time, it's always that. They never know how to pronounce it. Yeah, it's a little like complicated, but I think Lou is like perfect. Hello, Philip. Welcome. We're hitting 1K subs soon. Yeah, totally. We're already at 600 subs. Chat. I'm sure most people already watching are already subscribed, but if you haven't, it will be really nice. It will help us grow and you know, be able to do more stuff. So yeah, thank you. And hello, Mitch. Welcome. You know what? Let's go to the thing. Whoa. We already have like something to react to. Actually, not yet. Hold on. What is the music? Let me get the music from the other day. The Pokemon music that we use. No, what was it? Nintendo, right? Nintendo music copyright free. So we can chat. Give me a few minutes of your time, chat, before we start. Oof, I think this is a little loud. Hold on. That's gonna be the stream. Yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, long stream. Hello, Pablo. Welcome. I'm K9 Pepper. Yes. Well, for me it's Thursday. Thursday night is coming. K9. But I will be having a stream where we're gonna open some booster packs on the next day, on Friday. Everything is already scheduled on the channel. You can see it there. So yeah. Am I paranoid or did I hear a 6-7 joke? Did you? I didn't realize you couldn't hear the music. I don't think I did. Did I? If I did, I'm so sorry. For information, new Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge today. I am not caught up with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge. I am not caught up. I don't remember when was the last time that I watched it. But so I don't know. But I saw. I got recommended it, even though I haven't watched it in this account. When you mention subs, no, I said that we are at 6K. 6K? No, 600. I said 600, not 67. Why would I say 67? We're at 67. We're at 600. Can we make it to 700 or something like that? I didn't say anything like that. Oh my God, Pablo, 75 stream streak. You're my biggest hater. You're always here spreading hate. And yeah, thank you. Cock. Thank you so much, Lex, for the cock. No, chat, you don't understand. That's how Lex says hello, okay? That's his way of saying hello. I'm just paranoid. Yeah, you have been hurt before, but don't worry. Don't worry. Everything, you're gonna be safe here. You're gonna be safe here. Don't worry. I got you. So yeah. Just wait for the ads to end really quick, and then we can start. Also, chat, YouTube is telling me to remind you that we have memberships in case you want, you know, to have a cooler name with a cooler badge and a cooler and you can use emotes like this one, for example, that is not gonna show on the screen, but you can see it in the chat. Oh my God. Yeah, so that's probably the last time I'm gonna mention it unless the topic comes out. comes out. But I like how like YouTube is always reminding me that you should mention it. You should mention it. Oh, I love that one. I love that one, Pablo. So yeah. Oh yeah, Lil Kuribo loaded a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge episode today. Yeah. It's been a long since the last. How long it's been? When was the last time? It's probably like a year, right? Is this like Cyber Dragon or something? Is Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. On screen chat doesn't show YouTube emotes. Yeah, it's messed up. I still haven't found a way to fix that. I feel like nothing works. Like the only way to make it work if it looks ugly. I don't like that. Yeah, or to have it divided, 2 different chats. I don't know if you want that. So, yeah. Hello, Sans. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I think we can start. Let's start with a little. Let's start with Jinso. We should like stop the music and yeah. I believe the only way anything works if it's ugly. A story of my life. Yeah, I relate to that too. My own time stream just started and we're about to watch our first video. So yeah, I will say that you're just in time. So let's start. It's been almost 2 years since the previous Abridged episode. Whoa, I wasn't expecting like 2 years. I thought it was a little bit over a year, but not 2 years. That's crazy. Which they make Red Eyes Jinso. That is something that could happen. Like I can see that happening. I don't know how relevant Jinso has been. This is from 2 years ago. So we'll see. Archetype Archive Jinso. I don't know much about this archetype. I am, as you can say, Yugi Boomer. So I only know the regular Jinso. I actually don't know about the support. I know, actually, I think I remember one small Jinso. I don't know if it was a Gemini card or something. But yeah, we'll see.
I just love walking uninterrupted.
Oh, it's one of those videos.
No, is that a trap?
That's a trap.
Wow. Alas. If there had only been some way to prevent this from happening before it happened. It's a pretty rare case that a DM era monster is remembered by non-practicing.
No, I love it. I like it. I actually liked it. I like the that when the video essays start with a little sketch. I love that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Nostalgics for what its exact effect is, as opposed to for how cool it looks and how relevant it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jinso in a while. I don't think I haven't seen Jinso ever in Master Duel.
There tends to be an impression that it's a summonable monster with infinite attack or something, but for the most part, the fame is saved for effectless dragons of opposing eyes and colors. However, if you were to ask anybody what Jinso does, you'd likely get a very simple answer.
Yeah.
Trap card? More like crap card. And they would be right, because Jinso's iconic ability to completely shut down an entire subset of back row while looking incredibly cool
like
was
that?
definitely what gave the card so much recognition and staying power. Much like Red Eyes, it started off as a card belonging to a goofy but fun villain, before becoming a key part of Joey's very eclectic monster lineup, getting plenty of spotlight in the anime. Despite receiving some on and off retrains over the years, Jinso was never a fully realized
I think I remember the
previous
previous one.
making it a real curiosity for legacy support analysis. So naturally, we'll start off with the very first monster in the archetype, the renowned originator himself, Jinso!
That's the guy! Oh, what?
7?
7?
As much as I'd love to say that
What is this? This monster can attack your opponent's life points directly? Jinso number 7? I've never seen this before. 7? I've never seen this before. 500 attack. Okay, well.
That it's an underrated playmaker in the archetype to this day. This is, in fact, a 500 attack direct attacker from 1999. It does have the dubious honor of having the highest stats among the early direct attackers, for all the situations when Rainbow Flower just doesn't cut it. But even that aspect would eventually be dethroned by some weird little snail bastard that came out in the same booster pack as Shape Snatch. The obvious joke to make here would be to ask what happened to Jinzou's 2-6, but frankly I don't think this even came from the same production line as the one we all know and love.
Yeah, what are the other
just
ones?
Imagine, if this is number 7, then one of the earliest prototypes probably had a mandatory effect to attack the owner directly instead of the opponent. Conclusion, instead of complaining, we should appreciate Konami's courtesy for skipping us immediately to number 7 because it could have been a lot worse. Anyway, Jinzou, the original. Kind of feels deflating after that whole thing, but it's a level 6 machine with 2400 attack and 1500 defense, and the effect, trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field.
I like how like simple and iconic this card is, honestly. Like, honestly, most people know Jinzou like just from the anime. Like, even non-Yu-Gi-Oh players know what Jinzou is, but also what he does, right? It's almost as iconic as Exodia in that sense, right? Everyone knows. Because the other cards that everyone knows, the Dark Magician or the Blue Eyes, don't have effects. So it's like weird when people actually know what the card does, right? And it's an analog for a lot of stuff. I know trap cards only exist in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, well, I actually don't know that. But I know that it's like a... Like, other games are less interactive, right? But you can tell, oh yeah, this is basically a Jinzou for this. And it's like, oh, okay. And that's it. Anime fans, casuals, and competitive players all know Jinzou. Exactly, exactly.
Probably doesn't seem like much today, when half the traps you see are archetypal extenders and the other half are these two, but Jinzou was an absolute
Did they make a
beast at its
psychic
time of
type?
release
They
and
should.
stayed that way for
Machine.
quite a while. With the game's slower pace back in the day, a level 6 2400 body with an effect to disable a whole bunch of removal, control and stun cards was a pretty big deal. This was especially compounded by the fact that tribute monsters around this time rarely had good effects, if any at all, as evidenced by Jinzou having released alongside a fellow level 6 machine, the 1900 attack normal monster, Steel Ogre Grotto number 2. Yeah, this is a number 2, alright. This combination of stats and effect made
What's up with the numbers? I wonder, why did they have numbers before if... So weird. Like, they go like... not creative enough with the names, or what? When was the last time Jinzou appeared in the anime? Was GX? I remember GX. I don't know if it came back after that. Jinzou is be like a goat hanger.
Competitive staple in a format where... Okay, I'm sorry, this has been bugging me ever since I was a kid. What's with a grotto? A grotto is a cave. I know early TCG localization is a unique type of mess, and there will be more on this topic in a minute, but this is a personal peeve of mine. There are 5 different monsters whose names were
That's what you meant
translated to
by
a
that
variant of
tangent.
Ogre Grotto, 2 pairs of which being made duos despite not having much visual resemblance to each other unlike other paired monsters, and unlike the 2 of them that weren't paired up, and only one of these 5 mentions something even remotely close to the word grotto in its original Japanese title, referring to
This is
where it
why
comes from as
ADHD
opposed
feels
to
like
what it
chat.
is. I would make
Just
a
so you
joke
know.
along the lines of, I guess somebody in the TCG office was really into the word grotto one day, but knowing some of the anecdotes about what goes on in there, it probably wouldn't be too far from reality. What was I talking about? Right, so Jinzou was pretty awesome right off the bat, and remained that way for at least a decade, until Denko Seka showed up and kinda stole his thunder. Despite having plenty of her own. Still, Jinzou keeps seeing occasional play to this day, usually in side decks, and his appreciation by the community cannot be overstated. Sure, the effect is a doozy, but part of the reverence definitely comes from the whole visual aspect of the card. Just
Visual?
in this limited frame, you have a tall, imposing figure in front of an eerie background.
Yeah,
clad
he's
in a
not
suit of armor
posing, he's
composed
just
of leather and
standing there.
steel, with spiked protrusions on its abnormally large neck, with the only really silly part being this zipper, but I guess even Jinzou needs to deal with humid weather conditions
about it.
somehow. Atop all this stands a bloated cranium with a veiny pink skin and a nailed-on monstrous faceplate resembling a gas mask, with 2 eyepieces glowing red and staring directly at the viewer. It's an absolute bioterror freak in the best way possible, and a great representation of early Yu-Gi-Oh's aesthetics, showcasing a combo of horror and style. Even Kazuki
Oh, this looks actually really cool. This is really cool. And this looks honestly way better than the art of the card. It looks amazing.
Takahashi's personal Jinzo artwork, featuring a striking color contrast and a more manga-style render, still retains the threatening Cenobite vibe that definitely inspired the original design. And because I haven't talked about this singular card enough yet, let me get back on the whole localization thing, because Jinzo's place in it is interesting to me.
What?
The monster's Japanese name is Jinzo Ningen Psycho Shoka, Jinzo Ningen literally meaning artificial human, but closely approximated to android, so that would be android Psycho Shocker. Early
What the? Why did they just translate it to Jinso? What happened there? Like, if you wanted to keep Jinso, like, call it like Psycho Shocker, because that sounds like the name of the archetype that is gonna probably be relevant after.
TCG had this odd tendency to translate card names which were the Japanese pronunciation of an already English word into the Romaji for the Japanese translation of that word, or even a completely different phrase sometimes, either in an attempt to, I don't know, make the game come off more exotic, or because they just thought it would be funny. Some of these names I like, others I think are stupid, and Jinzo falls into the cool category for me, because even though I was a little disappointed all that time ago when I found out it basically just means artificial, having a straightforward but unusual name and nothing else to the title was something I thought fit perfectly with the monster's menacing look. Mind you, Psycho Shocker is also a hell of a name, and still easily beats out the spell cancelling counterpart, the Spell Canceller.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of some names. Like, even now, some names are like kinda silly. Sadly, that art will never be available in either Duel Link or Master Duel because cards drawn by Kazuki Takahashi can be added to the games. That sucks. Well, what can we do? The cards with numbers on their names tended to be cards with similar artwork to another that they didn't translate. Bruh. To be fair, just Jinso sounds cooler. I guess it sounds cooler, but I feel like it could cause problems for something in the future. I think he will be more relevant if he had destruction immunity. Destruction immunity. Well, that would be too much by the time it was made, right? Okay.
Bravo. On one side, we have this sick, freaky cyborg with 2400 attack named Psycho Shocker because he shocks you with psycho powers. On the other side, we have this pathetic goatsy drone with 1800 attack named Spell Canceller because it makes callouts on TikTok about why Monster Reborn is toxic. So yeah, Jinzo rocks all the way through. In a dedicated decklist, you wanna run 3. The first addition to Jinzo's arsenal came in the form of a strange equip spell named Amplifier, initially used in duel monsters as an attack booster, and then in its printed form in early GX by Jinzo. Like, the actual Jinzo.
The actual Jinzo
evil
appeared.
spirits capturing people's souls in the silence in Season 1 and they treated it like a mild inconvenience. Like, oh, we took care of that guy, well,
oh, this music is gonna kill the video.
It's a really Kafkaesque show if you think about it. The effect says equip only to Jinzo. This card's activation and effect cannot be negated. The equip monster's effect, trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated, negate all trap effects on the field, becomes your opponent cannot activate trap cards or their effects on the field, negate all trap effects your opponent controls. When this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. Doing away with Jinzo's only downside, that being that he negates your own trap cards as well, Amplifier is really more of a novelty than a reliable asset. If you're running Jinzo, you're well aware of this compromise, and are likely not stocking up on trap cards crucial to your game plan, at least not enough to run a back then unsearchable equip spell. It is, however, responsible for one of the funniest infinite loops in the game. You take a Jinzo, an Amplifier, Imperial Order, and just a little bit of Snatch Steal.
Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I love it.
Heading off to the late GX support, used by a guy who felt like he wandered into the show about 100 episodes too late, we first have Jinzo Returner. It's a level 3 with 600 attack and
this is the one that I knew. What is this, dude? It looks so creepy. How did they make him look creepier but making him smaller?
With the effect, this card can attack directly. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Jinzo in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. I'll go out on a limb and say nobody was really clamoring for this loving tribute to Jinzo number 7 in the form of a slight effect update. The direct attack is irrelevant, and while the recovery condition misses timing and has a completely unnecessary end phase pop, the second effect is something that warrants the card debatably being ran as a one-off due to enabling one of the less pathetic combos in the deck. Otherwise, it's an anime card through and through. much like its follow-up, Jinzo Lord. A
Jinzo
level 8 with
Lord.
2600 attack and 1600 defense.
I also
and
remember
following
this
effect.
one.
Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned from your hand by sending one face-up Jinzo you control to the graveyard.
Oh,
Trap cards and their
no.
effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field. Once per turn, you can destroy as many face-up traps on the field as possible, and if you do, inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each card destroyed. This one is always so baffling to me because it's barely an upgrade. You get 200 extra attack, then if by
Why would
any
your opponent have,
chance
like,
there were
face-up
some face-up
trap
trap
cards?
cards left on the field from before Jinzo was summoned, you get to pop them for some minuscule burn damage.
Yeah.
At least the anime version lets you look at the opponent's set cards in hand once per turn.
Ah, that-
and blow
that
up all
sounds
the revealed
amazing.
Trap cards, even though it was used a bit different in the actual show, but the point remains. I guess this was too
It
much for
came back.
2008, so they didn't go through with it, leaving us with a weirdly pointless boss monster. It's a shame because it did give us this
Hello,
cool
you
looking
see?
sleek Jinzo with extra belt arms, but there's absolutely no reason to summon it. At the tail end of the Synchro era, we got one single piece of Jinzo support, which was, curiously enough, a trap card.
What?
Psychic Shockwave is a normal trap that says, when your opponent activates a trap card, discard one spell or trap, special summon one level 6 Dark Machine monster from your
What?
deck. Alright, it's not exactly a Jinzo card, but that's like saying Bug Matrix is not exactly a digital bug card. And I like
Yeah,
this
I
one
mean,
because
it's basically
really
a
petty.
Jinzo
It
card.
adds a degree of interruption that wasn't present in the card before, enabling a certified Jinzo jumpscare. This actually was sided competitively for a short time as a tech option because trap-heavy decks could still run rampant in some older formats. Surely, just older formats. One interesting aspect of this card is the acknowledgement of Jinzo's place as an early psychic monster. The first additional type ever added to the game, many of the original psychics were portrayed as cybernetic mind manipulators similar to Jinzo in appearance, and if retroactively changing monster types was something they ever did, retconning Jinzo into a psychic would likely be how the concept got introduced. Hey Konami, I don't know what prompted this illusion thing, but there's still plenty of time for Relinquish. to
Yeah,
fix
make
this
them
conflict.
illusions.
You know, I think it's much more deserving of the spot than a Dark Duel Stories reference with cornfield in the name. Call me. The last piece of
Did my replay get seen in your replay video? In my replay video? You mean in the replay stream? I watched everything that was in there. So I most likely watched it, so you can check the VOD. You can check the VOD. Don't worry about it. It's there. If you posted it like before the stream happened, then I definitely watched it.
standalone support Jinzo got before 2020
Or during the
was
stream,
the
I guess.
2014 release Jinzo Ejector. I can't believe the coward Duel Stories reference with cornfield in the name. Call me.
Cornfield.
The last piece of standalone support Jinzo got before 2020 was the 2014 release Jinzo Ejector. I
This
can't
looks
believe
so
the
weird.
cowards skimped out on naming him Jinzo Jacker. What a loss.
Jin-
It's a level 4 with 800 attack and 2000 defense, and this card's name becomes Jinzo while on the field or in the graveyard. You can tribute this card, add one Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand except the Jinzo Ejector, then reveal all set cards in your opponent's spell and trap zones, and if there are traps among them, you can special summon Jinzo monsters from your hand up to the number of traps revealed. You can only use this effect of Jinzo Ejector once per turn. It's bizarre to me that a card with this much archetypal utility was released completely solo and remained that way for 6 years. This is a kind of effect that warrants at least 5 more cards being built around it to provide a modernized playstyle to an ancient monster, which did happen, but they sure took their sweet time. Ejector has so much going on. The Jinzo name copy, so you can use it as a shortcut for support cards. It searches any Jinzo monster, not just the original, which it honestly didn't even need to at the time of release, but
Yeah,
it's
there
appreciated
was
right
no
now.
other ones.
And it
It was the
special
start of an
summons
archetype.
multiple Jinzo in
Interesting.
case you reveal multiple trap cards. Minus points for streamlining his neck though.
Copy that.
Sure, it's a bit slow, prone to negation, and far
Yeah, it
from
has a
great on turn
smaller
1,
neck,
but
that
with
is
the
not
deck's
hot.
current output, it's a good 2-off. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler for the overall state of the deck's playability, but if you were hoping for the quote-unquote Jinzo playstyle to be anything more than a novelty toy, you were kinda setting yourself up for disappointment. Well, let's see how they pulled it off, starting with Psychic Bounder. It's a level 4
Is this a
machine,
Jinzo
or at
card?
least it
You can
claims
add
to be.
one
It has
Jinzo,
1700
okay.
attack and 1000 defense, and if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Jinzo or one spell or trap that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, you can destroy both the attacking monster and this card. You can only use each effect of Psychic Bounder
Okay.
once per turn. This is a reasonably good searcher, as well as a decent retrain of Reflect Bounder. And
Oh,
much like
interesting.
Reflect
Okay,
Bounder,
that's why
it's
it
probably
looked
not gonna
familiar.
go off very often, but it's neat for searchers to have some battle effects on the field, and the deck is pretty lacking in protection anyway. When it comes to the searching, it covers any back row you might need, although it only fetches the original Jinzo when it comes to monsters, which can be a problem sometimes. Still, as far as the modern support goes, it's a staple for the deck. Next up is a retrain of the Fiend Mega Cyber, which was a warrior type.
What? The Fiend Mega Cyber? And this gets a retrain?
in the form of Psychic Mega Cyber,
What
which
the
is,
hell?
of course, a machine. Is this a
Oh.
bad time to propose my pitch for
Why did they do that? It was a warrior before, and it feels like it should have been Thunder, right? Or a Fiend. Now it's Psychic, but it's not Psychic, it's a machine. They were Esparova's cards? Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Hello Phoenix, welcome, welcome. Is Jinzo support based in cards used by the character that use them? Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Dude, I haven't watched that in like over 20 years, right? So I didn't know. It's like, okay, that's where they come from. That is so cool then. And ironically, Psychic, Mega Cyber, and Jinzo Lord or cards like them could have been solid new playstyles for the archetypes. I actually don't know what would be the right way of like retraining those cards. It's like always weird, you know, with the effect was so simple before. It's like, how do you like elaborate on it? But yeah, I don't.
the Pyro type variant named Sea Serpent Mega Cyber. It's a level 6 with 2200 attack and 1200 defense, and if your opponent controls more spells and traps than you do, you can special summon.
Wait, hold on. Like some cards punch other opponent's monsters into the back row to treat them as traps. That's crazy. That sounds amazing.
2200 attack and 1200 defense, and if your opponent controls more spells and traps than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn this way. When this card declares an attack on an opponent's effect monster while you control Jinzo, you can tribute this card, place that opponent's monster face up in the spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. You can only use this effect of Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn. Well, credit where it's due, it does retain a special summoning condition, which was the standout part of the Fiend Mega Cyber as a kind of prototype Cyber Dragon. It's a little different this time and still useless when going first, but hey, it's field presence. The battle effect is fascinating to me because it's such a roundabout way of jury-rigging the field state into conforming to Jinzo's new playstyle.
Yeah.
Just in case the opponent is not flipping over any traps, Psychic Mega Cyber can punch a monster into the back row and make it act like its borders are pink. It requires setup to summon and activate, and the effect loses you the monster, but now you have access to a few more of the new Jinzo support effects, which honestly aren't really good enough to warrant going through all this trouble. Run one copy for emergency cases. The last main deck monster in this bunch is, curiously enough, a retrain of Jinzo. To be honest, I sat here for a few minutes trying to workshop a joke about this thing's name or appearance, but it's called Jinzo the Machine Menace, and the artwork is a Dutch angle Jinzo shooting laser beams at you, so I don't think anything I added would be nearly as funny. It's got the same stats as Jinzo, other than being level 7, and its effect says, if a trap is face up on the field or in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it becomes level 6 until the end of this
What?
turn. During either player's main phase, you can tribute this card, special summon one Jinzo from your hand or graveyard, then you can destroy all traps your opponent controls, and if a card is set, reveal it. You can only use each effect of Jinzo the Machine Menace once per turn. This is a strange card because
I don't know if this is good or not. it's just weird. It's so convoluted. I actually have no idea if this was ever good or not. It's just weird more than anything. Legendary Duelist adds support for archetype monsters used by the characters that use the monsters, like Legendary Duelist Magical Heroes add support for Dark Magician heroes and Synchron, aka Yugi, Jaden, and Yusei. Legendary Duelist? What is that? And ironically, Psychic, Mega Sire, and Jinzo Lore cards have been solid new playstyle for the archetype. I already read that, I'm so sorry. Like some... Wait, I already read that. What the hell? Is my chat trolling me? It looked like it was a new message. But yeah, you're right, Philip. Laughing at the idea of Jinzo Jumpscare versus Centurion. I honestly, can you mind if I just become a Jinzo player? Just so when I have to fight like a... what is this called? Like a Labyrinth player, which is one of my most hated ones. I will be ready. I will be ready. The lab hate is real. Yeah, it's honestly one of the most hated. For me at least.
it basically incentivizes you to run easily accessible traps in your Jinzo deck just so you can reliably turn it into less of a brick. Either run foolish burial goods to set up some traps with graveyard effects, or hope you get to slap down an Imperm or evenly matched in case you're going second. It's handy that the level changes to 6 upon this summoning condition, enabling Xyz plays, but my question in that regard is, why is it level 7 in the first place? For the
Yeah,
manga
it's kinda
reference,
weird.
I appreciate it, but what I would appreciate even more is a less stunted card. The second effect is kinda neat, if at least from the perspective of giving the deck a semblance of interruption, even though you won't be using it for that most of the time. The ability to summon the original Jinzo from the hand, or even recycle it along with Jector, all the while giving you the option to clear out traps, is a decent enough package of effects, but overall I wish there was more to this. It's not
It really feels like what you're saying, Philip. It feels like like for Xyz plays, which apparently doesn't happen in a Jinzo deck,
a
or maybe it
menace
does.
as
I don't
much
know.
as an annoyance. The final monster in this lineup is the Jinzo Xyz monster, the rank 6 Jinzo Layered. Again,
I was going to say Jinzo counter Draco Tail, but no, they have monsters that can answer them. Yeah, no, totally. Like I was also thinking the same thing because usually a Draco Tail, well, not usually, but it's common, right? That you see a Draco Tail end board that is 3 trap cards, right? 3 set cards, 2 monsters on the field. But the hand traps can deal with Jinzo easily, right? Unless there was something with protection, which I don't know. They should make a Jinzo for hand traps. Yeah. Probably exists something that doesn't allow like the other player to activate cards from their hand or something like that.
he's got the Jinzo stats, requires any 2 level 6 monsters, and you can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase, but it cannot activate its effects or declare an attack. If a trap is on the field, you can tribute 1 monster, and if you do, destroy 1 face-up card on the field. You can only use each effect of Jinzo Layered once per turn. This sudden shift into a monster control focus was something that initially piqued my curiosity. Esperoba employed Hypnosis and Mind Control in his duels, spectator mode notwithstanding,
Yeah, totally.
so updating Jinzo's playstyle from archaic trap manipulation into something that fits the psychic disposition was a great idea. From this aspect, Layered is okay. The monster you steal can be used for Link or Xyz plays, such as Sheridan, which feels right at home here, as vampires also hit a similar
can't believe
control
there was an
focus
actual
makeover for their
Xyz.
modern support. Alternatively, you can use it for removal if a trap card is on the field, which is, once again, such a weird failing for this deck. At least Buster Blader was based around eliminating dragons, which meant actively engaging in battle with monsters, while all Jinzo ever did was passively prevent a form of disruption which is barely even used for that purpose anymore. Trying to cobble together a playstyle for a monster whose sole thing is disabling traps is a strange endeavor and clearly not a successful one when you make a bunch of crucial effect utility reliant on traps still being active. This deck operates under the impression that the opponent will be flipping over a new, exciting, likely continuous trap each turn and somehow not be dominating the board state while doing so, while also trying to sabotage them from doing that, all the while frequently struggling to build up its own field presence. What is card design?
You understand, this is a hater deck. You play this when you're a hater. You have to play this when you hate floodgates, right? When you know you're gonna go against someone who's like trolling, who is like using like those traps that don't let you activate anything. That's when you become a Jinzo player. Totally, 100%. A hand trap version of Jinzo is in a reference to his dual monster spirit will actually be cool. Can you imagine? It would be so cool, right? Again, wouldn't be an issue if Psychic Mega Cyber's effect was a bigger part of the archetype. Yeah, I feel like they should like just run with that and make it the whole thing. It would make sense. Legendary Duelist is the name of the what people call anime character support sets. There has been 9 so far. Oh, okay. Nice. I didn't know. These 2 specific? Yeah.
Right, so Layered is whatever, you can run away, but he will catch up to you with his long feet. The deck's only normal spell is Law of the Cosmos. Your opponent can set 1 trap directly from their hand or deck. Then if they did,
This doesn't
special
look like a
summon
Jinzo
1
card at
Jinzo
all,
from your
it's so
deck.
weird.
If they did not, add 1 Jinzo or 1 monster that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Law of the Cosmos per turn. It's always a dire state of affairs when your archetypal search spell comes with a chance of giving the opponent a free card.
Yeah.
Sure, you get a Jinzo, which might cause that trap to stay down for a little bit, but if they ever get rid of said Jinzo or you use it for an extra deck play without a backup, the trap card in question will likely be something that throws a wrench into your plays big time. Alternatively, you might get to search any of the support monsters with it, such as Jector, Bounder, and Menace, all of which could put in decent work towards your game plan, but even though both of the results net you a card, letting the opponent decide what happens is gonna result in a less optimal outcome more often than not. At least it doesn't require a trap card to be on the field. Next up is the first quick play spell, Everlasting Alloy. If you control Jinzo, activate one of these effects. All machine monsters you currently control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects until the end of the turn, or when a card or effect is activated that targets a machine monster you control, negate that effect. Is there any particular reason as to why this wasn't a continuous spell? If you want to make me pick between resistance to destruction or targeting, that's fine. It can be a passive effect as long as I control a Jinzo monster, and if I don't, just blow up the card. I just can't stand one-off protection quick plays, especially in a deck that struggles out the ass to search basic playmakers, and this is a prime example. It's a shame because the archetype absolutely lacks protection, but running this would actively interfere with you making any actual plays. The next quick play is Cyber Energy Shock. It says, if you control Jinzo, target one card on the field.
Wait, this is a cyber card. This is a cyber card. What the hell?
Destroy it, then if it was a trap, you can apply one of these effects. Negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn, or all Jinzo you control gain 800 attack. You can only activate one Cyber Energy Shock per turn. This is the closest thing the deck's got to a modern semblance of control. Again, it depends on the field presence of the original Jinzo.
I like how they just add negates.
You have to blow up a trap if you want some spot negation or attack boosting, meaning the situation has to be very specific for you to get the most out of this card. It's a mess, but it falls in line with the rest of the deck, so you gotta run 3. Frankly, I'm just glad it's a quick play, and it's a genuine surprise that the attack boost is permanent instead of lasting until somebody blinks. The last Jinzo quick play is Psychic Wave. If you control a machine monster, send one Jinzo from your hand or deck to the graveyard, inflict 600 damage to your opponent.
600.
During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one machine monster in your graveyard, send one Jinzo monster from your deck to the graveyard.
I was confused why the first time, okay. I get the joke now.
Where from? Is it the graveyard? You can only use this effect of Psychic Wave once per turn. If you couldn't tell by the out-of-place burn effect and the Academy Duel Disc on the artwork, this is an adaptation of an ancient anime card. Admittedly, it does add a bit of semi-generic recycling to it, but in a very slow and unwieldy manner, and basically begging you to use Returner with it. The fact that you can retrieve any machine monster with it is appreciated because you can regain access to your playmakers, that is, unless you got OTK'd before the card can go off. It's a decent combo enabler in a deck that sorely lacks any, but having to wait a turn to use it feels borderline evil, and I have no idea why that line of text is here. You run a few of these if you want to risk also running Returner. The final Jinzo card is Cosmos.
Oh my god, they put the guy in the card.
One monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard, special summon one machine monster from your hand or graveyard. When your opponent draws for their normal draw in their draw phase while you control Jinzo, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap.
Wait. You can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. This is the first time that I see that I don't remember any other time that I've seen like such a condition like this. One monster you control that is owned by your opponent. You send it to the graveyard. Interesting.
Your opponent reveal phase while you control Jinzo, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent reveals the card they drew, and if it is the declared card type, send this
I know
card to the graveyard.
they have cards to control other things, but it still feels weird.
Cosmos channeling once per turn. So the first effect is just kind of annoying. Even with a copy of Mind Control and Change of Heart, this deck does not pull off nearly enough monster stealing shenanigans to warrant this activation cost. I will give it some credit as it's a continuous.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't remember, but it was like 1 or 2 cards, right? It's not the archetype. If the whole archetype did that, then it would be like, oh yeah, that is a good card, right? If the whole archetype was around controlling enemy monsters, yeah.
And this is meant to be used more to ensure the opponent doesn't get their resources back, rather than a designated recycling tool. The second effect, on the other hand, just makes me mad. Having to control Jinzo, letting this brick sit on the field until the opponent's draw phase, and having to guess what type of card they drew in an archetype that has no ways of learning this information by itself, only for you to lose a card you control just so you can get a single solitary draw, that's when anime references cross the line from being cute to becoming a danger for tournament play. Sorry, what I meant to say was...
But it's so cool, right? Design-wise, I know this is unplayable, but it's so cool that it exists.
Another great combo with Convulsion of Nature, the Jinzo Gishki variant definitely has a competitive future. A freak accident has caused a panda-shaped can opener to be lodged inside of my occipital lobe for the past 8 months. I'm afraid it may be developing some grey matter of its own.
You need to play this with your little brother, you're right.
Let's give Konami some bad middle school flashbacks by grading their science project. Consistency gets a 2. You pretty much need to go second to even enable half of your plays, and even then, most of your search options are kind of clunky. This deck cannot build its best board before turn 3, and the board in question isn't very good in the first place. Power power also gets a 2. The archetype
Also, by the way, I know there is a lot of cards that have like anime characters in the cards, right? I can think of many, right? The thing is, like, it's unusual to see someone like Esparroba, right? Like the Jinzo guy, right? Because he was such a minor character. He appeared like, I don't know, in 3 episodes? I don't know, right? He probably came back for some stuff, but he was only relevant for 1 duel.
is based around a sub-mid-range beater and adamantly refuses to evolve past that in terms of stats. It's miserably bad at OTKs for a deck that wants to go second, and its removal options
What are we getting? We don't have consistent, we have power. I don't think we only have recovery.
Here are very specific Jacker plays
Protection, I guess.
Cyber Energy Shock attack boost. As for recovery, the deck does partially rely on it for a few plays, but they're too few and far between to count. Psychic Wave is the highlight on this front, but even that requires you to play Returner and hope you don't die before the effect activates. I'm afraid that's a 1. But it's a strong 1! Protection exists in the form of Bounder's rarely used attack interception and a terrible quick play, and that's about it.
There's negates.
But it's not a 0! Versatility-wise, it's weird. They took a monster intended to disable the slowest and least proactive type of card in the game, and then tried building a whole deck around the idea, but decided not to make it do much else? The most damning thing about the archetype is that even if you're playing against trap-centric decks, modern ones tend to have plenty of non-trap related ways to circumvent Jinzo's ability and easily get rid of him. If you're running an engine to get your stuff out faster, the Jinzo side of things actively hampers the performance of that engine rather than being enhanced by it. It may be harsh, but if a deck is made to counter a specific type of playstyle and then can't even do that properly, I don't see anything fitting here but another 1. Here's a deck list.
What deck list, dude? What is this? What? What are you gonna do with this? You're gonna do anything with this? Three pot of extravagance? Okay.
Forces me to run 6 trap cards. Truly a respectful tribute to Jinzo's legacy, which, to be honest, probably didn't have to exist regardless of quality. The original monster is such a basic but well-rounded card that stood the test of time in the competitive scene way better than most of its contemporaries. Even disregarding meta relevancy, Jinzo was always one of the coolest creations of the Duel Masters era, and the simplicity of its effect will ensure it always stays that way. All these extra bells and whistles are neat, low playability aside, but I'm of the opinion that it feels like an extraneous update to a card which never needed one. It's like if you surrounded the Mona Lisa's museum display with a bunch of Mona Lisa fan art. Still, despite the significantly lower trap focus in the modern
that is such an insane thing to say.
For him, Jinzo still occasionally finds his way into some side decks and will always remain one of the most recognizable monsters in the game. From the appearance and presence in the show to the effect, it's a definition of an
iconic art is
monster,
so cool though.
There's no mediocre support wave that will ever change that.
Alright, that was a very cool video. Very cool video. I liked it. Oh, there is more. Hold on.
So, this is Bubble Blaster. I made it for my friend Bubble Man after his buddy Avion got tragically destroyed by battle with a Purely the other day. Hope this makes old Bubble stay with us for a couple more turns. Don't take battle damage, take Bubble Blaster. Peace.
Steam Park is good for you. No downsides. For now. Goodbye.
Oh my god, the Lime Oyama.
Giant germ who I met at the dumpster the other day got hit by a Patroid and died. There were 2 more of him immediately after, but I still miss the old one. If you were here,
I have no idea what I'm looking at. What am I watching? What is this?
But as he is not, I will simply demonstrate it myself. The cool thing about the germ infection is it's really easy to make it at home by yourself. Or at the toilet bowl.
What is this? Get off the podium!
I can't. There's thing nobody understands about me. I'm actually very smart. I have a degree in physics, I have a degree in chemistry, I have a degree in sociology, I have a degree in anthropology. I'm entirely self-taught. I gave myself all those degrees, but it took a long time to write them, so I'm pretty sure they're about as valid as any other degree.
Thank you for the video. That was really fun. I didn't know most of these cards. Actually, I would not lie to you, chat. I didn't know any of these cards. Like, I've seen them before, like some art, I remember. But I never read them, actually. So I had no idea. So thank you for sharing this with me. Now I know that this sucks. Now I know that this archetype sucks, and when I see like someone new, like a Yugi boomer, being like, oh, actually, I want to play I want to go back. I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I want to give Yu-Gi-Oh a try. I'm fan of the anime. I want to try Jinso. What do you think of like the Jinso deck? Can I build Jinso? Can I play Jinso? And I will be like, short answer, no. Long answer, no. You shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't. That. It would be cool. Like people in chat were saying, if it was like consistent in a way, right? If you can make it like you just punch your enemies, your opponent's monster into and turn them into continuous trap cards, then yeah, that's amazing. That's perfect. It works with the archetype, right? It retroactively makes it better. Or if you go the route of like mind control, sure, you can do that, I guess. You can do that, but you have to like choose one thing and actually focus on that thing. Because right now it feels like a lot of like random things. This is just a lot of like random things. It can also work like that, right? For face down cards, right? If you have way of like looking at your opponent's cards and seeing what they are, even if they are face down, that could also work as a reference to the mind reading ability. Something, right? But right now it doesn't do anything. It does like a lot of small things, and it does it badly. Yeah. So that is the conclusion. That is what I've gotten from this video. And ironically, Flame Swordsman is great. Yugi Boomer deck, it's easy to pick up, learn, and is pretty adaptable since there is so much warrior support out there. Yeah, also the even the red eyes, what is it called? Like the metal morph, that also works. You know, there is also the Exodia one. I don't remember the name. The Exodia Fusion. That also is like, seems easy to use. So yeah, there is a lot of like stuff for Yugi boomers. So sad that Jinso, such an iconic card, doesn't have that treatment. Maybe in the future, who knows? But they have to choose one thing and actually commit to that. So yeah, thank you again so much for sharing the video. And also, if you have made it into this part of the video, please let me know in the comments, how would you fix Jinso? How would you make it playable? Right? What cards do we need? Yeah. Thank you. I think we're done. Hi, crispy applesauce. Welcome. Hi. And welcome everyone. Sorry that I was not like reading the comments that are not exactly related to the video, because otherwise it makes the video harder to edit. I'm not gonna eat videos, I'm gonna edit them. Yeah. You say, sorry for ignoring you. You say, if you're still there, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I don't remember what was the match. What was your match? I'm so sorry. But we can like go about it during the next review. We can talk about it more there. But yeah, I gave my thoughts on there. Maybe if I said that it was a bot that you were playing against, my bad. I probably meant it half as a joke. Sorry about that. There is a card infamous in Duel Links named Sergeant Electro that locked an ST spell trap each turn. They could have adopted that. Infamous Duel Links that locked. Oh, interesting. But just one. That sounds interesting. A Dark Magician. Is Dark Magician a Yugi Boomer deck? Totally, 100%. Negate hand traps. Oh yeah, if you can go for negating hand traps, yeah, totally. I'm still waiting for more Metal Wolf Red Ice cards. Yeah, I think that's really cool. My favorite card that falls on anime. Wait, hold on. Let me know if the volume is a little loud. My favorite card that falls on anime reference is the card called Ready Set Duel, which is a reference to the first episode of 5Ds, and the episode, at least in the dub, is named Ready Set Duel. Cool. I love when there is like references like that. My favorite card Oh. Yeah, sorry, I'm not ignoring your comments, but sometimes I am. I don't do it on purpose. I'm just a silly little guy. I'm new to having like so many chatters with very long messages. I'm not complaining. I'm really thankful that you care enough to write a whole paragraph. I love that. Please keep them coming. I love that. I will make there be effects that change Jinso's negate to spells or other monster effects. I think it will be neat. I think that will be the ultimate floodgate, and I'm pretty sure people are gonna hate that if you actually negate different things. It sounds like a nightmare. It will be the most hated archetype. I think I already said my piece. Giving us more that word like Mega Cyber that allow you to treat monsters as continuous traps would be sick. I agree. I agree. I 100% agree. I will make Jinso archetype more about controlling the field, like being immune to destructions while negating trap cards. How do we feel about negating continuous stuff? So if it's an effect that you just activate at the moment, it doesn't negate that. But it only continues stuff that are already there or are about to be set. That could also work. It's a different way of looking at it, I guess. So great, I think. I mean, it could work. I don't know. I'm not a game designer, definitely not. And I haven't been playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, no, I don't want to say competitively, right? Like, but taking it seriously for a long time, just a few months. So I don't know if that will work, but it's just an idea, right? But I feel like the important thing is that you should commit to one thing. I think that's what matters. You should commit to one thing. By the way, chat, before we go to the other videos, I wanted to show you something. It's probably... I forgot that I have to react to this. Now that we have... the man, the myth, the legend in our chat, we can do this now. Just so, oh wait, hold on, I forgot to pause this. Just summon Horus Black Flame Dragon, and that is your spell negate. Yeah, you can just summon all different monsters from different archetypes in order to get every negate. That makes sense. Like if there is a continuous tribe on the field, Jinso is just unaffected by everything. Oh my god. What about an effect that makes your opponent set traps from hand deck to be able to use monster effects? An effect that makes your opponent set traps from hand to be able to use monster effects? Interesting. Interesting. I have no idea what that will work, but it sounds like an interesting idea. Maybe a fun thing will be negating lingering effects. I love that. I actually love that. It's like the answer for Maxi, right? The answer for Droll. I love that. It was difficult. Yeah, it would be difficult to word, right? You would have to like make it a thing. I don't know if lingering effects is a like an actual term in the game, but it should be. It should be. What if Jinso can negate one type of card for a whole turn, like negating all quick play spells or field spells and so on? That is so funny. That is so funny. I don't know. I guess, for example, against something like a Sky Striker, will be, oh, no more quick spells. Oh, no, you cannot do that. Maybe that will work. Forcing your opponent to set traps to use monster effects is entering Floodgate territory. It also just makes certain decks even stronger, like White Forest. Yeah, but you cannot activate them. Oh, can use them for cost. Okay, my bad. You're right. Sorry, I'm dumb. I don't know how to White Forest work. A Jinso hand trap activating once something like Maxi. Oh, a Jinso hand trap. Oh, so Jinso is now a hand trap. That is so funny. That is so funny. I love that idea. Alright, chat. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. If you have more suggestions, I'm gonna upload a video soon, and you can take your time. You can write a whole essay and have it ready for when I post the video, and maybe we can come back to that. We should do that actually. That sounds like a cool content idea. We should just try to fix an archetype, and I'm writing that down. Hold on, I'm writing that down. I'm writing that down right now. How do we fix Jinso? Content idea. How to fix Jinso. Dude, I love this, dude. Thank you, chat. You're the best. Save your ideas right now. Save them all, write them down, make your essays, and we're gonna do a whole well, I don't know if a whole stream, right? But it's definitely gonna be a video. That sounds fun. Yeah, what other archetypes can we fix? Like, for example, I've seen a video, I think it was MBT who made a video about how to fix red eyes. And a lot of people gave like suggestions. But we should make it a whole series on how to fix like certain archetypes that are certain Yugi Boomer archetypes, like Jinso. What other one is an archetype that needs fixing? The Mako, I think people call it, right? The fisher guy, the fisherman. Does that need fixing? I don't know, because I've never seen anyone play it. Nice idea actually for content. Yeah. Chat, send the video to Rata after we do it. Rata? Oh, Rata is the guy who made the video. Okay, sorry. Anyways, moving on. By the way, chat, before we go to the next video, one thing, I don't want to sound like mean, I don't want to sound like annoying with this, but during the video, let's try to keep it on topic with the video, and then after the video, we let the beast out and we talk about whatever in between videos. But while the video is playing, we should keep it on topic, just so that it's like easier for me to edit, and it also makes for a better experience, I feel, for everyone. And then after that, we can talk about, hey Pepper, did you see the new card? Did you see that fuck, I don't know. What is happening? Rocket, it's also coming. Isn't that weird? That card is just coming to the TCG, and it's also coming to Master Duel. Same week, right? The border load dragon link. Isn't that crazy? That's a cool thing to talk about. What is the other thing that happened? Junk is coming, chat. Junk, you love junk. It's also coming to Master Duel. They did that with the blue eyes structure. Did what? They remade all the Mako's cards. It's fine, I think, but it falls short to Atlanteans and Mermails. Interesting. Let's fix Castira by making it worse. I like how that sounds. No, that's the point. We should make Castira worse so that nobody plays it. That is the point. Yeah, that is the point. No, Castira is bad for the game. Yeah, exactly. That's why we should fix it, by making it worse. Not a DM archetype, but holy hell, B-Croids need a remake. Okay, I like that. Maybe we can go to GX too. What else sucks in GX? Did they ever fix the Cyber Angels? I think they did, right? There is Cyber Angel support. Who's another character that doesn't get enough love? Oh, we should also make one for Toons. Yeah, for Toons. Oh, the new Dragon Link stuff is coming to Master Duel. I thought it will take longer. Yeah, me too. So why do we have to wait so many months for K9? But like the Dragon Link is just coming like at the same time. That is so silly. Toons are getting support. Yeah, I know. So we should make the video before that. Venoms, I like that. The Darkness, yeah. They did support for example, Arcana Force, yeah. The Ojamas. Ojamas hasn't gotten a support in many years. I don't know. We got an announcement for Toon support. Yeah. I know, but we still don't know the cards. We know Toon support is coming, but we don't know what it is. So we could theorize what would be something good. Yeah, exactly. One got abandoned. The other had like 2 cards made into actual cards. Oh. Do you remember CC cards? EC? No, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. Hello, Dark Wolf. Oh, we make a Celtic Guardian archetype. Celtic Guardian is pronounced, right? Yeah, a Celtic Guardian archetype. That sounds amazing. See, that's what I mean. That's the things that I want to see. Good. Ojamas can burn in hell. I joke. No, Ojamas are so cool. What are you talking about? Alright, it's time, chat. Let's watch this video. Overanalyzing rogue decks. Overanalyzing rogue decks and the power gaps in Yu-Gi-Oh! By Crispy Applesauce. Let's watch. Wait, hold on.
I think everyone loves an underdog story. The idea of overcoming the odds is a
We
theme that
love
goes all the way
underdog
back to the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! With the iconic Heart of the Cards moment signaling that comeback when all hope is lost. And it's a theme that a lot of players resonate with. You can see how excited players get when old or underutilized decks perform well in competitive events.
This is literally what we have been talking about, chat. I cannot believe how like on point this is. This is literally what we were talking about. We love to see like bad decks perform well, right? Being playable and actually being able to compete with something iconic. Yeah.
While these decks aren't usually winning events, there always seems to be 1 or 2 rogue decks that sneak into the top 32, which really makes me wonder, how big is the power gap between a meta deck and a rogue deck, considering that they seem to have the capacity to top events in the right hands? And I think the only way to really understand it is to try a rogue deck myself.
Oh my god. Imagine trying a rogue deck, chat. Imagine playing a rogue deck instead of the best deck.
Rogue decks in general. And to be honest, this subject is not really my area of expertise. As much as I love and praise the arts and themes of this game, I actually have a very...
Wait, what are these memes, dude? I didn't realize it.
And to be honest, this subject is not...
I didn't realize the memes. Hold on, I love this.
So first, I actually want to talk about rogue decks in general. And to be honest, this subject is not really my area of expertise. As much as I...
Okay, so why is this like... Wait, how is this meme relevant to what Mr. Apple is saying?
Love and praise the arts and themes of this game. I actually have a very competitive mindset, and I tend to always just play the best strategy in pretty much any game that I try. And I do this mostly so when I make a mistake, I can really only blame myself. And normally what I do is go to r/masterduel and just try to summarize the opinions of like 1,000 angry Redditors. But this time I actually wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to ask someone who returned to the game around the same time as me, but plays mostly casual decks instead of meta decks, and ask their opinion on their experiences playing rogue decks in the modern day. So I invited a friend of the channel, Pepper Wants Yu-Gi-Oh!
What?
To this video so I could ask him a few questions about his experience.
Oh no! A Discord call.
Introduce yourself and tell us when you got back into the game and why you decided to get back into the game.
My name is Pepper. I've been streaming for like, what? 3 years maybe? I just got a VTuber in my niche content, in my niche Yu-Gi-Oh content. I got into a rabbit hole of I started watching like GX dub moments. I started watching the anime, the first season of GX, and I was like, oh, I want to play the game now. I was told that I should build something like Dragon Mates, that I would enjoy that because it's kind of easy. Not competitive, but like competent, I guess. Like usable, viable. And people told me, my chat told me, like, yeah, you're not going to enjoy this.
So I know you've tried a lot of decks so far. What would you say is your top 3 favorite?
Oh, my top 3, without in a specific order, it will be probably Cyber Dragon, Nouvelle, and... Oh, Sky Striker. Yeah, Sky Striker.
So, what actually...
What is this guy saying? What is this VTuber saying? What do you mean Sky Striker? That is not a rogue deck.
drew you to these decks? Was it the art and the themes? Or was it a gameplay loop that interested you?
Well, actually, I feel like I have 3 different answers for each one. Cyber Dragon is because it's a nostalgia thing. It's like super hype to summon a big monster, like saying this.
So true, so
it's
true,
like
bestie.
Preach.
Preach.
Big monster, big number, and I feel like that's cool, right? For Nouvelle, it's like the theme, like how you use the spell cards that are like the rituals are recipes to summon the dishes. and the guys that brings those recipes are the chef. The field spell is a restaurant. There is also the menu that you let your opponent choose what you're gonna cook for them, basically. And I think like it's a very cool theme. And for Sky Striker, what I really like is the gameplay. The gameplay that I connected the most with Sky Striker because of how I can just keep drawing stuff and using spells, and they have like powerful spells. And I also play with basically one monster at a time, right? And it's like super fun to OTK someone with just one monster. I love that I can go second with it, and it's a very versatile deck. I don't know. I like that.
So
Wait, hold on. Chat, I should have said this in the video. I should have said this in the video, but I forgot to mention how basically like I really like Sky Striker because of the gameplay, of how you play it and how it makes me feel like Iron Man. Right? I forgot to say that. That is what I like. Some people are like, oh my god, yes, I love Ray. I will die for Ray. I will I don't know, whatever the copy pasta is. Like, I don't care about that. You you love Ray. I love the suits. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah, that is what I meant. It's like an Iron Man thing. Yeah, it's that's what I. That's we're not the same, chat. We're not the same. I don't know. I like that.
So a lot of people talk about how this game is unbalanced between decks to deck. In your experience returning back to the game so far, do you find yourself at a disadvantage playing these decks? And if you do, how big of a disadvantage do you think it's been?
Or at least with Nouvelle, I feel like there is not really a disadvantage because most people just don't read the cards. They don't know that if you target something, you trigger a bunch of effects. And I just can tell that they are reading the card after they already messed up, and they just surrender. That has happened so many times. With Cyber Dragon, it's a little easier to understand. And with Cyber Dragon, By the way, I saw a comment about this. Someone in the comments said something like, you cannot, like, waiting for your opponent to not read the cards and run out of time by reading them. That is not a valid strategy. And I'm like, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that was the strategy. It's just a sign that people don't know how to play against them. And that's what gives me an advantage, that they don't know how to play against it. It's not like they are going to run out of time by reading the cards, or they are going to surrender because they don't think. That is not the strategy. The strategy is like playing something good, and and part of it is like the opponents don't know how to play against it. It's not like I'm waiting for them for running out of time. That is not what I meant. I really feel like I am a certain disadvantage. Like, there's a sweet spot, I guess, between how complex it is and how people don't realize what they are going against. Because there are some people that are really playing the meta and they only know how to play against the meta. So when they see something that is new in a certain way, they are like confused. That is my experience with Nouvelle. But if you go second, it's like hard to go against a lot of negates. Going first is like so good sometimes.
Now, out of curiosity, from a pure gameplay standpoint, do you think there's actually a hidden competitive advantage to playing these fun decks?
I feel like there is some kind of an advantage. Yeah, I feel like there is an advantage of not knowing and having like pressure with the time, right? Because sometimes you go into a long combo and that's the hardest part, that they have to read a lot under short period of time. I use the example of like, if you're learning League of Legends, it's my favorite example. I say all the time. Like an arrow or like a fireball coming like right to you, you know that next time you have to dodge that, right? You understand that you got hit by something. But in a card game, you cannot do that, right? Your whole board got destroyed and you understand why. Or your cards like got banished and you understand why, what happened. Or you suddenly cannot activate something and you don't know why if you don't read absolutely everything. The skill of the player is definitely more important than the deck.
And finally, what advice would you give me or anyone else watching who wants to try a casual or fun deck in Master Duel? What should we expect?
So if it's someone who is just getting into Master Duel and they want to start with a casual deck that is fun because they like the theme, I would honestly not advise that. Part of having fun, the advice is don't do it. Right? That is the advice. You have to make some kind of concession and find like a middle ground, something that is playable. For me, at least, it feels like the game is not fun if you don't win, right? Learning the game with a rogue deck, I feel like it's harder. But if you really like it, you're really passionate, you really know that you like Yu-Gi-Oh or card games, I feel like you can do it. Maybe I feel like a good player can make it work with like if the deck is consistent, at least a good player will get victories with a bad archetype, quote unquote bad archetype. Some bad player who has like a $1,000 deck. Yeah, but if like the deck is not consistent and you break all the time, then it's just harder, you know? That is my perspective, at least. Just add there that I'm just a little guy. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a silly anime boy on the internet saying stuff. Thank you for inviting me. I honestly
Oh my god, what is this?
I
Can you
feel
believe
honored
this guy?
that my input has some value to you. Say your truth. Don't you need to say that is the objective truth. It's not my opinion, it's the truth. And everyone who says otherwise is wrong. That's what you should have said, Pepper Wentz.
I want to thank Pepper for actually coming on and sharing some of his insight and experiences. He brought up some points that I honestly didn't even consider. I left the link in his channel below. After this video,
subscribe.
go over there, check him out, show him some love, give him a subscribe. I think you guys would really like his content. But after that conversation, it's time for me to decide what rogue decks that I want to play. And to give it a fair shake, I actually chose 2 decks. I picked one deck that hasn't seen modern support in a very long time and is universally hated by the majority of the community. And for the other deck, I picked something that's universally loved by the community and has actually seen some recent modern support. And that way I
That is
can
so
compare
funny. That's
2
such a
different
funny
rogue decks
statement.
in this meta to make a more informed opinion. So let's start with the first deck that I played, and it's pretty universally hated by a lot of people, and that deck is Fluanderies. Now, I can already hear the groans from the comments. Hell, even the guide that I read told me that I lacked a moral compass for playing this deck. Which is fair, I did pick it because people hate it. But also I really love the theme of the deck as well. So like my other videos, I'm just going to give you a really quick lore dump. Fluanderies is a deck based off of a real bird, the Arctic tern. This is a small seabird that's famous for its record-breaking migration pattern.
Jesus Christ.
Going from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back.
Why
in a
do they
single
do
year,
that?
traveling about 59,000 miles in a single trip. And Konami turned this idea into a whimsical storybook-like journey. The story starts with Snow giving our main characters, Robina, Elgin, Tugin, and Sturi, a magnificent map. Guided by the map, the group travels the globe from the North Pole to the South Pole, visiting new continents, meeting new friends, and encountering the scary sea, before reaching the giant and powerful bird in the South Pole, Empin. And there's
This looks so wholesome, right? All of this looks so wholesome. The art is beautiful, and it has like a really like cool concept. It's just miserable to play against.
Traps represent different locations or challenges they encountered along their journey, with their main gimmick of normal summoning multiple times a turn, representing the birds landing in different locations along their migratory route.
Just like Pearly,
which brings
yeah.
us to its gameplay. Fluanderies is a control deck that's focused entirely on normal summoning and tribute summoning monsters. A lot. Which outside of the fun and whimsical lore, this was the biggest draw to me picking this most hated deck. Because the deck completely ignores Maxi and Malcharmi Fuelos.
Right,
We're
everything is
really
normal
flipping the
summon,
bird
interesting.
at these cards anytime they're played. And I'll be honest, the idea of turning one of the most universally powerful cards in the game into a complete brick was kind of funny to me. So how did it perform playing in Master Rank? And I'm just gonna rip the band-aid off right away and not sugarcoat it. It's miserable. Let's talk about going second first. Because outside of unexplored wins, decks of this age don't really have built-in ways to deal with going second. You're entirely relying on non-engine to push you to the finish line. And don't get me wrong, going second is a struggle for every deck. But you can definitely tell that the design philosophy to include going second cards and engines is more of a modern design philosophy. I've won plenty of games going second with the deck, but it's not thanks to anything Fluanderies was doing. A lot of games relied entirely on blowout board breakers like evenly matched. So how was going first then?
Yeah, that is
And
not
honestly,
exactly
better, but you can still
making
really
use of the
feel the
archetype.
deck's age. Your turn has the potential to end to basically any hand trap under the sun. And yes, the deck has ways to dodge imperm with cards like Advent and Swallow, but your opponent has a better chance of drawing a hand trap than you have of drawing Advent with a bird. And
Whoops,
despite me
sorry.
somehow having a positive win rate with the deck after 100 games, every game I played with this deck just felt like an absolute struggle. And for what it's worth, I can see why the supervillains of this world love
Supervillains.
But the difference between that deck and something like Draco Tail is honestly just night and day. And it really feels like there's no amount of good deck building choices that you can make to really bridge that power gap between the two decks. But like I said, I played 2 decks, and this other deck seems to be universally loved, so
I don't know what makes what made Mr. Apple here think that Sky Striker is universally loved. That was a surprise to me.
So hopefully I'm going to gain a little brownie points back with you guys. And it's also a deck that receives some modern support. And that deck is...
Chat, type 1 in the chat if you like Sky Striker. Type 2 is if you hate it. Because what I've seen every time that I show my Sky Striker deck in another like duel room, it's always like, this guy bringing Sky Striker. Everyone hates me for playing Sky Striker. People prefer, I don't know, that I got like something like, I don't know, Draco Tail or something. 2. There's 1 there. Ew, right? I honestly, 1 because of the manga. Okay, the theme is really cool. The art, really cool, right? You can like the characters, you can like the story, but playing against it is horrible. Now, playing Sky Striker is really fun because it feels like gambling, like doing a lot of engage and drawing cards. It feels really nice. You play with a lot of spells. To me, that's really, really fun. But I can understand why the opponents don't like it. It's not a fun experience seeing your opponent drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing cards. Yeah. Blue players are indeed super villains. Sky Striker, just in the blind second OTK pool of decks, people tend to not like. Oh, I wonder who are those players who don't like blind second decks? Oh, are those players that like to go first and set an unbeatable board full of negates, and now they hate when their unbreakable board is broken? Gets like, oh yeah, you just want your opponent to not play the game? Fuck you, honestly. If for those people who play like that, you play a flute gate, or you put a lot of like continuous traps there that don't allow me to use monster effects. Nah. That's why I ran 2 lightning storms, 1 duster, 1 heavy storm. Fuck you. I just wanted to let that out.
Damn, this deck is a lot of fun. Sky
It
Striker
is.
feels like it's one of Konami's babies, being even the cover art for the app itself for a while now. And I promise, pulling a Royal Ace Zero as my guaranteed Royal in the Minenko bundle.
Dude, that was so lucky, dude. I cannot believe it. You got like the best card of his own archetype. Well, not the best, right? But like the best monster, basically. The boss monster. I don't know what to call it. The ace monster of the deck in Royal. Oh my god. Look at his face. That is my same face.
Only had a lot of it to do with the reason why I picked this deck. But I'm really glad I picked it. And as much as I'd love to give you guys the lore dump,
I didn't know this. Sky Striker was the sword. For how long have this been true? Always. I didn't know. I assume Sky Striker was a role of the people, of the sword users, not the actual sword or the mechas or whatever. I'd never thought about it. Yeah.
dump that I normally do. This deck's lore is just a literal light novel. And we'd probably be here for like an hour. But if you're interested like I was, Konami actually made a few animations that you can find in solo mode and also
those
on
are
YouTube.
not great.
And it'll cover the most crucial of plot points. So Sky Striker can actually be played 2 ways. One as a blind second OTK deck, and the other as a
I love
going
that.
first
Show the
control
meme.
deck.
Show the meme.
I chose the going first control deck version because that just interested me more. And to be honest, a lot of the issues that I had with Fluanderies, I don't have at all with Sky Striker. The deck's consistent.
It's almost
It has
like
built-in
it's
ways
not
of dealing with
exactly a
going
rogue
second.
deck.
It has plenty of options to extend past Interruption. And it has cards like Engage, which is probably the best tutor I've ever seen in this game. Throw on top of it that playing
Engage
it as
is
the
the best
Go
card
First
ever.
deck can still do the OTK and close out a game on an empty board state. And when you bring all of this together and throw in the fact that it actually has a pretty good Draco Tail matchup, the deck plays and feels like it should be higher on the tier list. So what's the catch? Where's this power gap? What makes Draco Tail the literal best deck in the game and Sky Striker untiered? And after playing 100 games with the deck, I think I kind of figured it out. And this is just a bit of a theory, but bear with me. I think it has to do with how forgiving these decks are to mistakes. And when I say mistakes, I don't mean just outright misplays. I'm talking about situations where you just make a wrong read on what interruption your opponent has or is going to use against you.
You know, I never thought
And a
about
deck like
it.
Draco Tail is very forgiving to those mistakes. Even if you make a horrendous mess up, you generally still have a way to end on some sort of half board. Where if you
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that the thing that like messes with the deck the most is Ash Blossom. Like sometimes you're just going for lethal. With 0, you use the second effect. You get like Ray. I mean, you want to get Ray and Rose, and then you just get ashed. Done. Yeah. Or like it's also vulnerable to Cold Buy. I mean, Cold Buy is at 1 right now, but still. Hello, Mossy Might. It's hard to mess up setting. It's also hard to mess up setting Horn and Flame. You're right. I mean, I guess sometimes you just messed up and do like something in the wrong order, and so maybe because I haven't played that many like actual tier 1 or tier 0 decks that I don't know like how unforgiving they are if you make a mistake. So I don't know. Maybe I need to try more decks in order to properly categorize Sky Striker.
If you make a wrong read on a deck like Sky Striker, it can literally result in ending on a board with 0 interruption. And this seems to be the trend with most modern rogue decks. It's not a lack of powerful plays and powerful cards, but instead it's a lack of flexibility when the game starts to not go your way. And it's not a power gap that can be easily measured. You aren't just counting up the amount of interactions the deck can play through. Like, oh, Draco Tail can generally play through 2 interruptions, and Fluanderies can generally play through 0 interruptions. But instead we're trying to measure this by how well a deck can recover from its mistakes. And I think from that angle, there is a really big power gap between the two decks. With Striker, you have to play perfectly. And with Draco Tail, you can make a ton of mistakes and still win games. Trust me, I was that Draco Tail player making a ton of mistakes and winning games still.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, order is really important with Sidecar too. Like turning off your own Widow Anchor happen. Turning off your own Widow Anchor happen more often than I like to admit. Yeah, sometimes you just activate like what is it? Like linkage at the wrong time, and you end up like like removing something that you didn't want to, right? You send that to the graveyard. Oh yeah.
Where I rarely win games when I make a mistake with Sky Striker. And I think that's a real power gap to consider, and why there's such a big chasm between the two, even though on paper the decks are very similar in power. So in the end, what do I think of this? Is the vocal minority of Reddit right when they tell people that their favorite deck is unplayable? And while I don't think the answer is as black and white as they make it sound, I think I actually need to give the point to Redditors for this one. I was fully ready to defend rogue decks in this video and be like, oh, the power gaps aren't that bad. I was fully expecting it to be an overreaction. But after trying it for myself, there's truly a chasm between tier 1 decks and rogue decks. And I think there's definitely degrees to it. Like a more modern rogue deck like Striker is a lot closer in power to Draco Tail than a deck like Fluanderies.
Yeah,
which hasn't seen a new card in 5 years. And it should probably stay that way. And the older the deck gets, the harder it is to solve the deck's weaknesses through deck building. And eventually it gets to a point to where no matter how good of non-engine choices you make, you're not going to bridge that power gap. And don't get me wrong, I love that these decks can still exist, and that dedicated players can still find ways to steal games from the best decks in the game.
Oh, that feels so good
these old decks
when
don't
you
have
defeat
a
someone.
0% win rate. They can still perform their strategy in modern-day Yu-Gi-Oh! And find success. But I can also recognize that decks like these aren't reliable. And they honestly make the game way harder than it needs to be. So yeah, I think there's a massive power gap in this game.
But at the same time, that's why it's more rewarding, right? That's why we love it. Because you're at a disadvantage, right? No, it's not a huge disadvantage, but you're playing at a disadvantage every time that you go against a Dracotail player or a Mitsurugi Jami player, right? You are at a disadvantage. So getting a win against those feels even better. Definitely.
Which is to be expected in any game with power creep. But I think the difference between the two is actually a little more than I expected. But what do you guys think? How does Konami even address
Please
issues
like and
this?
subscribe.
Is the answer more generic slop engines that can just be slotted into any deck? Maybe they put out a suite of cards that support specific subtypes. Or maybe we just accept that they can't resolve it, and that these decks are pretty much just a relic of the past, and tell ourselves it's just time to move on and play a more modern deck. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. And if you made it this far in the video, let me know what your favorite pet deck is. And if you're one of the dedicated players who still plays it to this day, or if you had to drop it, and why? What kind of issues have you guys ran into trying to play your favorite
That's a lot of
casual decks
questions.
in a modern Yu-Gi-Oh environment? I'm really curious to see the answers. But until next time, I hope you guys all have a fantastic day. I love you guys. Bye.
I'm getting parasocial now. Oh my god, yeah, that was an amazing video, Crispy Applesauce, and thank you so much for inviting me. I'm not just, you know, saying that it was a good video because I was in there, but it was actually like a really cool analysis. So yeah, chat, go check Crispy Applesauce. You know, natural born content creator, amazing, amazing, amazing. My favorite non-meta deck is Gotti, and Heroes. It's crazy to me that Heroes is not meta. I feel like Heroes, with all the support that they get, should be like up there always, like at least better than something like a Sky Striker, right? And I don't feel like it is. I would never drop Balmonica. I would splash every engine into it. Be Finsmith, Rise Seal. Oh yeah. Like I love when people are like fans of one archetype and you just want to make it work in every format. In every format you have to make it work. Honestly, I'm not the point. I might quit Master Duel and go back to grinding characters in Duel Links because at least Duel Links is more variety, in my opinion. I mean, if you like that, that's perfectly fine. I love Master Duel because I'm pretty sure like every format is gonna be different, and I just don't like Duel Links like characters. I feel like the characters kinda make it a different game, but it's like for everyone different tastes, so yeah. DM is not as bad now and getting better soon. DM in the OCG right now is okay. I'm a filthy Dark Lord player, so I know what it's like to wait years for new support. But you're getting new support soon, right? Or not? Am I crazy? Evil Heroes got a bunch of support that fixed their problem. This is still bad. Darlo, filthy. I don't know. I'm reading the chat. We gotta go. We'll be back soon. Okay, bye, Sans. See you later. Don't get me wrong. I like Master Duel, but there is so much Konami does, in my opinion, better in Duel Links than Master Duel. Like the best example, when Duel Links release a new box, they give you enough gems to open 10 packs, while Master Duel doesn't. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's harder to grind Master Duel to get gems. That is definitely a problem. My deck in time order were Ninja, Punk, Shark, and Dark World. Shark. If the spell leaks are real, DM now has one card Dragoon. The hell? I'm sorry, I don't know why burping so much. Actually, I know why, but you know. You mean the chat? We're gonna go to a little ad break on the purple side, so we don't get interrupted later. Oh, I should probably put on the music. Ooh. Outer Legs gems with decent crafting system with Master Duel over RNG Hellfest that is dueling. I agree. I also prefer the crafting system other than your stuff. Let's see what other videos we have here. Hold on. Let's watch a short video before go to the next one. Alright, the true rules of Duelist Kingdom. Oh yeah. Okay, let's start with this one. Yeah, I also prefer that you can craft stuff, but like the crafting system is not as good. I feel like NR and NR don't matter that much. You basically always have like infinite NR, while UR is like almost impossible to get, and SR is like a good middle point, I'm pretty sure. But UR is like impossible, dude. Crafting URs is like the worst part of it. The League Dragonmaid spell has this effect. Special summon a dark spellcaster monster from your deck. Negate this effect if you summon... Oh wait! You meant Dark Magician? I thought you were talking about Dragonmaid. If you summon Dark Magician with this card, you can add a spell that mentions one card Dragoon. Oh. You know, since... Yeah. So the special summon DM, no downside to negate effect, not Amaya's. Oh, I see. I'm so sorry, since you were talking before about Dragonmaid, I assumed you kept talking about Dragonmaid. Oh, then you said Dark Magician. Okay, my bad. But yeah, Dark Magician is getting more support soon too. So yeah, let's watch this one. It makes you wonder though, is a one card Dragoon even enough in the modern game to be meta defining? Not meta defining, but definitely doesn't sound bad. If you can add it to something. It's like Finsmith. Was Finsmith meta defining? Because you can do it with one card, right? You can do so many things with just one card, right? But the thing is like the fact that you can splash it in everything. Same with like Habakiri. Habakiri is just one card, but you can do so much with it. And you can splash it in a lot of decks. So in a way, it could be, I don't know. My deck in time order were Ninja, Punk, Shark, and Dark World. Wait. Order. One card Dragoon isn't meta in modern day, but it's a decent foundation for you to summon other guys. I mean, doesn't hurt. When any deck can throw a package in the extra deck, it's going to change things up. You have to run Dark Magician in the main deck, like the old methods. Huh. And ironically, this video makes understanding Duelist Kingdom much easier. The ruling of needing it to end your turn with a monster on board explains why everyone runs even trash. Oh, okay, that's what we have to watch. It's important. Oh, that's true. The whole package will be like 4 cards, right? I forgot it's compact. Compact. I love that. It's also so generic, yeah. Run 3 of those spells, 1 Dark Magician and 1 Dragoon. OTP Omni, untargetable, and be destroyed by effect. That's not nothing. Yeah, that's huge. But you know, it's just one. It's not one thing. It's a lot of things. One. It can it be target? Oh, it's untargetable, right? Oh, yeah, it's. I know. Let me give you this. In Duel Links, the meta is different. Like right now, according to Duel Links meta, the top decks for Tier 1 Branded and Tachyon, Tier 2 Shinobirds and B-Troopers, and Tier 3 Eldritch, Exosister, and Traptics. Yeah, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different game. I'm waiting for Konami to make Blue Eyes White Dragon. White Dragon, mate. Blue Eyes White Dragon, mate. That sounds insane. I love that. It's also why Kaiba lost to Pegasus. He had more cards in deck, but Sai, the Dark Clown, was his last monster. I think I remember that. Oh, Chad, I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't. Please forgive me if I don't remember everything properly. But yeah, Chad. Also, let me take this opportunity. I'm gonna do it again. I am once again asking for you to subscribe if you haven't. That will help a lot. But yeah, ignore that. Ignore me. That is not important right now. The only thing that matters is the true rules of Duelist Kingdom Tournament. Let's watch.
The Duelist Kingdom Tournament was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a competition where the best and brightest duelists across Japan competed for the title of King of Games, along with a cash prize of 3 million yen. Why is that converted again? Hey Siri, what's 3 million yen in dollars?
3 million Japanese yen is 26,509 US.
Yeah, but that is now. Well, not now, like 4 years ago. But like, I wonder what was when the anime came out. That was like what? Like 30 years ago or something? I feel like this will be different enough.
$26.
If we take that and we apply inflation,
okay,
the
he's doing
tournament
it.
took place around 2006. Inflation, you carry the one. That cash prize today would probably be worth about $50,000. Honestly,
that's still a
lot
lot
of money. But for a guy that owns an island, a castle, and has a monopoly on the entire Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, you'd think he would have splurged a little bit more on that prize. However, to be fair, the dub did change the prize to $3 million instead, which is obviously amazing.
That is
But it
huge
just creates
difference.
Another big problem. Joey really wanted to win the prize money to pay for his sister's eye operation, and the entire prize was the cost to pay it. $50,000 makes sense.
Yeah, that's
for an eye
reasonable.
operation. $3 million? What was she having done?
A nice surgery, $3 million is gonna cure blindness, literally. That's what it was, right? It's gonna cure blindness. My sister is blind. We have $3 million, and she's not blind anymore. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. To be honest, I figured they didn't have rules. Wasn't it like D&D with cards? Yeah, it was that's what I assumed, right? It was like a tabletop RPG, basically, right? You just improvise. You just make shit up, right? And I'm gonna be honest, Yugi was really good at making shit up, right? He was really good at that. So I thought that was the skill, right? But apparently there is rules. So let's see how much is rules and how much is improvising.
She getting the Sharingan implanted into her eyes or something? Anyway, getting back on track, Yugi was forced to enter this tournament after Pegasus had stolen his grandfather's soul. In order to get him back, he would have to win the whole thing. And while Yugi seemed to know more or less exactly how the rules worked in this tournament, for us at home, it almost seemed as if they were simply making it up as they went along.
Yes, that's how
And
it
to a
felt.
degree, there is some truth to that. How about we answer
Thank
that
God.
question? What are the official rules for the Duelist Kingdom tournament? Before we start, I'm sure there's something you're all very curious of. A bunch of duelists going to a remote island, how did they keep their cards safe when they were there? Well,
They
kept
don't.
their cards safe In today's sponsor,
Oh.
the Exeter Wallet. Did you think I meant Duel Monsters cards? No, I meant their debit and credit cards.
Yeah, totally.
Exeter is a
I need to protect my
high-quality,
stuff.
ultra-thin wallet that keeps
Yugi was good at
things
two things,
so
making
that
things
you
up and
don't
stacking
have
the
a
deck.
bulge protruding out of your
I
jeans. That sounded wrong. Let me
don't
try that again. You know what's
think
scary?
we should assume
Thieves.
that
As you know
Yugi
what
was
thieves can
stacking
do
the deck.
nowadays? They can
This is
scan
never
your debit and
implied,
credit
there's
cards
no
through your
anything about
pockets
stacking
to
decks.
steal your hard-earned money. However, this is where the Exeter Wallet comes in. It
Yeah,
is
but can I
made
hold
from
my
a material
cards?
that blocks RFID scanners and prevents wireless theft. On top of this, when I want to use
You
one of
activated my
cards,
credit
I can
card.
do so at the touch of a button.
Me on
which
Friday.
awesomely fans them out for me to choose from. And when
You're
I want
getting
to put them
gems
back,
to play
it's just as
K9,
easy. Exeter also
Vanquish
offers
Soul,
tracker cards, which you
Master
compare
Duel.
to your phone so that if you lose your wallet, you can know exactly where it is. It can even call out for help.
But yeah, I don't know where this is coming from. Like, I always hear about
Symbiotically as
Yugi
well,
stacking the
you
deck,
use
and
your
I'm like,
phone,
that
but
is.
have your wallet. You can call
Where's-
your phone
where's that?
from your wallet to find it.
Back would have been a dungeon master makes so much sense with this context. The first, oh yeah. That's the first like
Now, if
arc,
you use
right?
my
That
link down in the
didn't
description,
get
you can
properly.
get an insane discount
Well, maybe
off
it
your
did. I
extra
actually don't know. I haven't
purchases.
watched it. Was it
Treat
on TV? I
yourself
don't
today
think so.
using the link in the description
Not
and keep
in
your money
the
safe.
channels that I watch. Hey, tournament rules.
The tournament was invite only. 40 duelists
Okay, we're
were
actually going
invited.
for, like,
each duelist
the
invited
most
was
basic
sent
rules.
a welcome pack consisting of 5 cards and 2 star chips. Those 5 cards given out were given out to give details of the tournament. For instance, the ship card gave information on when and where they would need to meet to enter. The island card told them that the tournament would take place on Pegasus's private island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The duelist glove card told them about what the starships were for and allowed them to receive a dual gauntlet for them to keep their starships safe as
You know what's sad? That we didn't get more of this. That the glove is so iconic. The glove is so iconic. And I don't think we saw this ever again, right? I don't think so.
dueled. Finally, the Glory of the King's Hand and Glory of the King's Opposite Hand cards were used as the prize cards. The holder of the Glory of the King's Hand card would allow the winner to claim the $50,000 prize money and nothing
That sounds
more
a little
or
unnecessary.
less. Whereas the Glory of the King's Opposite Hand allows the winner to have one more duel, and this was against Maximilian Pegasus himself. If you were able to
Interesting.
beat him in a duel, not only would you earn the title of King of Games, you would also receive anything you desired.
However, of course, such a great prize requires a great risk, as if you lose this duel, you lose your soul.
An image will appear on the card once you are defeated. In other words, my soul will be sealed in the card. That is
The
correct.
2 starships would serve as 1, proof of entry to the tournament, and 2, the actual currency within the tournament. You would be gambling these, and this would determine if you moved on to the next round. The reason for this was because starships must be wagered in every duel, with the winner taking all. A duelist with 10 starships qualifies for the finals of the tournament. Those who lost all of their starships or had below 10 at the end of the allotted time would be eliminated. However, with 40 duelists and 80 starships in the mix, this meant that there was a potential to have 8 finalists. And this was something that Pegasus didn't want to happen. Pegasus only wanted 4 to qualify, so he hired 4 eliminators to retrieve the extra 40 starships. In the end, those that made it to the finals would then face off in a mini playoff style tournament. Round 1 of the tournament would have a time limit of 48 hours and would be structured as a battle royale. The way it worked was they just set all of the duelists loose on the island, give them a couple minutes to get ready, and then you could just battle to your heart's content. You can ambush people if you want, duel them there, lead them to places, do whatever you want. You've got the whole island, but you've only got 48 hours. So that's everything you need to know
It's
about
almost like it was perfectly designed to have like murders happen there.
the tournament itself. What about the in-duel rules?
Yeah, that's
Take a
what
look.
that's what we need. That's what we need.
A duelist deck must contain 40 cards
Exactly.
No side
All right.
betting is allowed. On top of that, any additional cards
wait. This is some shit Mr. Beast will do. We need this to happen. We need Mr. Beast to do this. I've got what? How many was? 80 duelists. No, what was it? Whatever. I was gonna do the whole thing. I got this in a remote island. Actually, it did happen, right? They did it for the Squid Games one. But yeah.
cards players brought to the island were confiscated. So they had their 40 card deck, anything extra they had was taken away from them.
Bandit Keith, of course, snuck on
I'm not going to Mr. Beast's Duelist Kingdom. I would. I totally would, chat. Like, come on, imagine.
the island and was a known cheater, and this is why he had so many extra cards with him, as he'd snuck them on and gave them all to Bones.
However, winning a card from an opponent and using that in your deck is allowed. For example, Joey beat Rex, took his Red Eyes Black Dragon, so what Joey did was take one card out of his deck, put Red Eyes Black Dragon in there, he's got a 40 card deck again, everything's good. Now some of you might have a problem with this ruling because later on in the tournament, Yugi is going to have the perfect card to defeat Joey Wheeler, and it almost seems as if his side decked it in. The card, of course, I'm talking about is Dark Sage, that can only be summoned by being aged by Time Wizard.
Yeah.
However, we'll cover that a little bit later, don't worry.
Why was that in the deck? That is suspicious.
List begins the duel with 2,000 life points and 6 cards in their hand. If a player's life points are reduced to 0, they lose the duel. You can only summon 1 monster per turn. Monsters summoned must be in either face-up attack, face-up defense, or face-down defense. You can flip a set monster up into either face-up attack or face-up defense. Tribute summoning is not an established mechanic. So that
there is
means
no tribute summon, you
high-level
can just
monsters
summon
can
whatever.
be summoned without any sacrifices at all. Blue Eyes White Dragon, 8-star monster, who needs sacrifices, just normal summon that straight to the field. A simpler time, if a player...
I don't know, that always felt like so unfair. Like, it makes no sense in my opinion. But I guess at the time, like, I don't know, makes sense. I brought 80 professional Yu-Gi-Oh players to an abandoned island for a life or death tournament. Winner wins $1 million. That is not a video title. That's how the video will start. But yeah, and it will be like him, like doing the Mr. Beast pose in the thumbnail with the island behind a lot of people, like with the gloves. Yeah, totally. I can see that happen. Editor? No, I'm just kidding. There is no editor. Imagine if Konami actually invested money into making IRL Duel Disk, or at least the platform we see in Duelist Kingdom. Yu-Gi-Oh will be the most popular thing in the planet. Yeah, totally. I that will never happen though. I feel like that's something that could happen in VR. In VR, I could totally see it happening. But yeah, actual like Duel Discs, I don't think that's something that we can expect soon.
Player does not control a monster and is also unable to summon a monster before the end of their turn, then they automatically
Did someone ever lose like this? I don't remember.
Only attack once per turn. Neither player can attack opponents directly. Yes, you heard that right. With only 1 attack per turn and no direct attacks. If you really wanted to, you could stall the heck out of your opponent. Just summon a monster in defense, your opponent attacks. They could have 5 monsters on the board, but they can only attack with 1 of them. So you can keep stalling with just 1 monster on the field. However, of course, you're going to be wasting a lot of monsters doing this, and if you just can't summon a monster, well, you're
Interesting. I didn't know that was a rule.
If a monster is destroyed by the effect of a card, then the monster's controller is dealt damage equal to half the attack of the monster destroyed. The best example of this is probably Mirror Force. Yugi uses this against Weevil, and half of the attack of all of the monsters is dealt to Weevil.
Oh, so I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. I knew this. Mirror Force cause damage. Okay, I thought it was crazy. I was like, wait. Mirror Force didn't cause damage? I was like, okay, now I remember. So it happened in the anime. That's where it come from. Because I was under the assumption that Mirror Force caused damage. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? When people told me, like, where is this coming from? It happened in the anime. Okay.
And again, against Mako Tsunami, he wipes the entire field, and half of that damage is dealt to Mako, which completely wipes out his life points. A monster that is treated as an equip card is still treated as a monster, meaning that monster can also be used as a cost. For example, for a ritual monster summon.
All spell cards are treated as quick play spell cards. Yes, basically all spell cards in Duelist Kingdom are normal spells, and all of them are treated as if they're quick play spells. Quick play spells don't exist in Duelist Kingdom yet, but their mechanics are just like it, so it's a quick play spell basically.
Fusion monsters and monsters transformed do not have physical cards.
Okay, this is why then. This makes perfect sense, and honestly, it really feels like this is a thing in the other anime. Like some like fusions like appear out of nowhere, and they are no physical cards. Okay, that makes perfect sense. because in the rules of the it wasn't clear, right? Or I don't remember. They did do a tech demo for VR Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you summon Dark Magician against Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's scripted, but the model animations are crazy. Yeah, the thing is like you will need so many models, right? But I can see it happening. You will need so many models for every card. But it can happen, obviously.
Cards. Instead, you keep the materials on the field and the game will render their fused or transformed form straight onto the field. If you don't quite understand what I mean, if you look back at Duelist Kingdom, you will never see the fusion card of a fusion monster. Or for example, if a card is transformed into something else through some sort of effect, there isn't a card form of that. It would be safe to assume that there's a long list of fusion cards that you can make, and as long as you know what two monsters can be fused together, you've basically got an unlimited extra deck size, as long as you have all the fusion materials in your deck.
So to clarify what I said earlier, Yugi having Dark Sage, well, it was never in his deck to begin with. It is a transformed card, something that exists outside of his main deck. Obviously, Yugi was the original owner of Time Wizard, so if he ever had Time Wizard on the field and Dark Magician and failed, his Dark Magician would evolve into Dark Sage. So naturally he knows if he's playing against Joey and Time Wizard uses its ability on him, he can transform his monster into its...
This, honestly, this is the most bullshit thing, like made up stuff that happened in the anime. That is so crazy.
New state. Ritual monsters are kept outside of your main deck.
Oh.
Yes, you heard me right. Ritual monsters, they aren't in your main deck. You keep them in kind of like an extra deck in your pocket or something like that. All you need is the ritual spell card. You activate the ritual spell and you can summon the ritual monster from outside of your deck. Fusion and ritual materials must be on the field to be summoned. Meaning you can't activate polymerization or a ritual spell card with the materials in your hand. They have to be on the field.
Traps are triggered when the activation requirement is met.
Not a rule, but a fun fact. Continuous trap cards are super rare in Duelist Kingdom. Look at how Mai talks about her Mirror Wall trap card.
This is a big one, but duels in Duelist Kingdom take place on special dueling arenas. Each dueling arena is made up of different attribute environments.
Yeah, it's like there is a field spell.
These environments come in ocean, land, meadow, wilderness, graveyard, mountain, forest, desert,
I feel like most of them are kind of similar.
Of a corresponding attribute summoned to one of these zones will receive a field power bonus that would increase its attack and defense by 30%. If a monster boosts
30%. Imagine that. Can you imagine if we had effects like this with percentages that you have to add certain percentages? That will honestly, that will make it unplayable for a lot of people. Yeah, you will actually have to do math, like actual like math. I don't know.
By a field power bonus, attacks or is attacked by a monster that's attack has been increased by the effect of a spell or trap and not by a field power bonus, then that boost is not applied during battle. What do I mean by this? That sounded really confusing, I know. The best example, Yugi boosts his Feral Imp's attack by using Horn of the Unicorn. He attacks, but since Weevil's monster's attack was boosted by the field power bonus, then Weevil's monster's attack points take priority. And so, Feral Imp is destroyed and Yugi takes damage as if Feral Imp had no equipped spell on it at all. Why did they do this?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know. I don't really like this. I completely forgot about it when I was rewatching it. The only thing that I can think of is that Pegasus wanted to emphasize the field power bonuses. This was like the gimmick of this part of the tournament. Weevil says you have to rely on either your monster's innate abilities or the field power bonuses to win. So yeah, there you go. Adding to this, there are also terrain and type advantages.
Think of this as something akin to the Pokemon games.
For example, a winged beast monster who attacks a monster on the ground who is boosted by a field power bonus will lose the field power bonus because the monster in the sky can fly and the monster on the ground can't. Right. Or like, if you get a monster wet, then of course, if your monster has electric abilities...
Yeah, this is a made-up bullshit. This is a made-up bullshit.
From that, right? Because it conducts more electricity. Yeah? Or, like, you use an ability that burns away grass, so they're going to lose the field power bonus, because you use the fiery ability to, like, singe the grass. Basically, what I'm leading to is the final rule of the Duelist Kingdom tournament. And that is, all cards have the potential to do something unique.
Oh yeah, that is a very well established rule. Hold on, chat, I need to move here. All cards have potential to do something if it makes logical sense. Now that is something. Now that is something. Oh, this seems like something like that you have trouble enforcing. You will call the judge all the time if it was an actual serious stuff. Yeah, so basically a D&D and tabletop game. Yeah, exactly.
Rational sense. Some of you are going to hate that, but yes. Duel Monsters in the Duelist Kingdom tournament is basically a collaboration with Dungeons and Dragons. You have the card game of Duel Monsters merged together with the mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons. What this means is, whatever's happening on the field, if you can make sense of it and justify basically what is happening, you can kind of get away with anything. For instance, the water field. Logically, water monsters would be able to swim underwater, so it's not hard to believe that they would be able to hide themselves under the water, and this would cause their attack and defense points to be obscured. So that would mean Yugi wouldn't know what he was attacking, and so he could attack blindly into a monster and it could have more attack. And that makes sense, right? Or like giant...
I wonder who will be the actual strongest monster based on its flavor text. I'm pretty sure it's Blue Eyes White Dragon, right? At the time, it was meant to be like that thing. Actually, hold on. Let me read it right now. Blue Eyes White Dragon. Where's the flavor text? Where is the flavor? This legendary dragon is powerful. Is a powerful engine of destruction, virtually invincible. Very few have faced this awesome creature and lived to tell the tale. Virtually invincible. No, I don't think. Unless there is something that says that it's literally invincible, then I feel like the Blue Eyes White Dragon will be the strongest one.
Giant soldier of stone. It's made of earth. So let's say it moved into the sea, then I guess it could be used as a piece of land to play another monster on. This was what Mako Tsunami thought Yugi's original plan was. To summon Giant Soldier of Stone, make it move into the ocean, and then he would have 2 platforms so we can summon 2 monsters. However, that's not what Yugi did. You see, he played a spell card called Full Moon, which of course, as we all know, the moon controls the tides of the sea. So by that logic, if I attacked the moon and destroyed it, then the tide would go all the way out, and all those fishy monsters would be exposed.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Right? That makes sense. Or like if I destroyed flotation rings on a castle, and then a card is played that encases all the monsters inside, that means that they can't get away now that castle is starting to fall. Logically, if they're all underneath it, and it's got spikes at the bottom of the card, it would crush them all and kill them all. That makes sense.
That was so specific, right?
If I combine a card like Living Arrow with Polymerization, and then I fuse a dying undead monster.
Wait, does this actually happen?
Well, that living monster wouldn't like to have a dying monster merged into it.
What the hell?
So logically, it would slowly start to decay, just like flesh. That makes sense. I can get away with that. Or maybe Shadow of Eyes doesn't work on female monsters. Or maybe if we multiply...
Wait, excuse me, what?
Maybe Shadow of Eyes doesn't work on female monsters. That makes sense. I can get away with that. Or maybe Shadow of Eyes doesn't work on female monsters. Or maybe if we multiply a Karibo, there would be so many of it. A monster like Thousand Eyes Restrict wouldn't be able to absorb them all, and would probably go blind if it tried to absorb them all. At the end of the day, just ask yourself, if I was in a D&D campaign, and I said what I wanted to do, and the Dungeon Master rolls his eyes and says, alright, just roll a D20, and you roll a critical 20, he's gonna be like, yeah, go on then, why not? It's basically what Yugi's doing here. Everything he does, he's rolling a d20. He's getting a critical hit. And with that, I'm sorry I can't be more specific.
No, I mean, it's the best that anyone can do.
Basically, those are the rules of the Duelist Kingdom tournament. I'm sorry they were a little bit vague at the end. One thing I want you to all keep in mind, the duel between Yugi and Kaiba, where Kaiba threatens to throw himself off the side of the castle, that doesn't count as part of this because they're using those prototype duel discs. They have like a different sort of dueling setup there. So don't consider that if it contradicts anything that we've talked about today. Just think of all the others. But yeah, that was the true rules of Duelist Kingdom done. Let me know if there's anything that I missed out. Equally, let me know if there's anything that I got wrong in this video. If there's anything else, I will add them as like a pinned comment or something like that. So we can.
Is that a pinned comment? It's not a pinned comment. I guess everything was correct.
I hope you enjoyed. Catch you later. Bye, everyone.
I guess everything was correct. What can I say? I'm honestly really impressed, like how good this video is. Like everything makes sense, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. Like it makes sense to a certain extent. But yeah, I'm glad that it's clarified now. Because honestly, yeah, there are some rules that to me were like, wait, that goes against the rules. But no, it's between the rules of the Duelist Kingdom tournament. So yeah, and the improvising stuff, yeah, I guess you have to make that. There is no other way to make sense of it. So yeah, amazing video. I feel like there is no inconsistency, right? I always thought the Duelist Kingdom simulating an actual battle, like on tabletop. If you look at it from, say, D&D perspective, a lot of moves and combos make sense. After all, the original game Wizard and Monster was a simulation of two wizards summoning monsters and battling. That sounds like an interesting way of seeing it. I think the last two dual rulings should be combined and just be shenanigans are allowed so long as they are logical. Yeah, the Duelist Kingdom is basically like an RPG with completely stoned game master. You attack the moon, which makes the ocean recede and strand all the water monsters. Yeah, sure, why not? Totally. Destroy the moon. They turned that into a card, right? I think this is a spell card or something. That is like the art of the giant thingy destroying the moon. So yeah, amazing video as always. Thank you, thank you. Gotta go to pee really fast. Wait, hold on. Give me a second. I'll be back really quick. I'll be back. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I'm back. Don't panic, chat. I am here. I am here. Alright, let's see. Yeah, but it doesn't let you destroy your own spell traps. Oh. The Shadow of Ice thing is actual rule in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. I don't know what that is. Kaiba's face during the duel was priceless. Yugi won through actual BS. Oh, yeah. Is my model working fine? I think it's working fine. Okay, cool. Duelist of the Roses. Let's see. I was recommended this game that I should play it on stream. This is a trailer for that game, Duelist of the Roses. I wonder why the name. A card, my kingdom for a card. Okay. Kinda loud. Oh my god. The 3D models. The PS1 3D models. Okay. Red rose, white rose. Sure. Wait, this is what is this? This looks like a tactical RPG, not like a card game. I guess it could be both. But there is a lot in this game. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, those old cards are so funny. Bro, the unique animation for so many monsters is insane. Okay, that was actually really hype. That actually looks really hype. Huh? Do you mean starts Friday, 22 April? Dude, what? This game was so underrated. This is dope. Is there an OST for this particular theme? Yeah, Fire Emblem with cards is a good analogy. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like a tactical RPG. God, it's so cool. It looks so cool. I bet that at the time that this came out, it will be like the best thing ever. It's like you will bet. Oh, this is for the PS2? I thought this is for the PS1. Uh-oh, then these are not good graphics for the PS2. It's the same, right? This looks a little better. I guess they are okay. I thought it was PS1 and I was like, oh, this is very, very impressive. I guess it makes more sense for the PS2. But yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, chat. This is really hype. Now, would I play it? You want the short answer or the long answer, chat? I feel like my short answer will be no. I'm so sorry. It's hard for me to play all games. I don't see myself playing like a game like this. It's not for me. It's not for me. I might give it a try, like something like some other type of game. This is I'm so sorry, but yeah. Anyways, let's watch this. How often does Yugi actually cheat? I'm under the impression that Yugi doesn't actually cheat. I feel like the rules of the are like not as well established. Honestly, maybe we will see if there is an actual cheating. What constitutes as cheating? What are exactly the rules? At least in Duelist Kingdom it wasn't properly established. So I don't know. I hope this video is like not half of that.
Yugi cheats a lot, like a whole lot, like here or here or
that
here.
Is not cheating. We're already established.
At this point,
those are the rules.
Yugi's
of
cheats
Duelist
so
Kingdom.
much, he's gained a reputation for pulling off some of the most ridiculous rule-breaking plays. But the truth is, Yugi bends rules in almost every arc, and yes, even in movies. So today, I wanted to make the most complete breakdown ever made. Every illegal move, every contradiction, and even clearing up a few things that look like cheating, but actually aren't.
Okay.
So let's find out. Does Yugi really deserve the King of Games title, or is he actually the King of Cheats? We need to lay a few ground rules about what counts as a cheat. You can pause if you want to read them.
Yeah,
Most
okay.
important thing is
We have to. we will follow the anime. So everything is judged on anime rules and card effects, of course. Each arc has their own specific rule set, so we'll be judging each duel under the rule set, okay? If a Yugi performs an action that contradicts other cases that he has performed before, then it counts as a cheat, okay? If Yugi at any point uses some kind of trickery that misleads the opponent, then this can, okay, that I don't think that should count as cheating. Like misleading your opponent, I guess it will be think of like a case by case scenario. But I don't, that to me doesn't feel exactly like cheating. It could be like an asshole move, but I don't know if cheating will be the right word. Any duel that I do not mention, you can assume that I did not find anything noteworthy to mention. Okay. Let's see.
Few ground rules about what counts as a cheat. You can pause if you want to read them. The most important thing is that some of these are a bit subjective, so if you disagree, make sure to let me know in the comments. But starting off with Duelist Kingdom, home to some of the most prolific cases of Yugi cheating, we'll begin with Yugi versus Weevil. I'll also use this duel to lay out some of the weird plays that Yugi makes that aren't actually cheats. Starting off strong, just 2 turns into the duel, Yugi draws a card during Weevil's draw phase, which, you know, you aren't allowed to do.
Okay, that's actually cheating. Okay, that's actually cheating. Okay, I didn't expect to start like strong like that. I thought like we were gonna have to debate something. No, that is actually cheating.
First attacks Dark Magician with his basic insect, but Yugi activates Mirror Force, and then Weevil's monsters get destroyed. Seemingly out of nowhere, Weevil loses 1445 life points. This might seem like a cheat, but in Duelist Kingdom, whenever a monster is destroyed by effect, the owner of that monster loses a portion of those monsters' attack and are destroyed. That being said, the amount lost is never consistent, as in this duel, Weevil should have lost 2035 life points, not 1445. But given that in this case it doesn't help Yugi, the way life points are taken away based on card destruction is also too arbitrary for me to definitively say if Yugi's cheating, so we won't count this as one. Another cheat that people consider one is Yugi activating Burning Land, which he uses to destroy the field.
Nah, that's part of the rules.
Kingdom that not a lot of people realize is that a lot of the rules basically come down to how good at improv you are when coming up with cards. So if something sounded reasonable enough, you could do anything. Akin to a game of D&D, but just like D&D, if Yugi's explanation for an effect is just too far out of the bounds of reality, I'm going to count it as a cheat. So in this case, Burning Land is as reasonable of an explanation
yeah, makes perfect sense.
Destroying a field spell. Weevil attacks Gaia with Great Moth, and in response, Yugi activates Polymerization from his hand during Weevil's turn to fusion summon Gaia the Dragon Champion.
Yeah, but that's a quick spell,
this is
right?
A tricky one, because on the one hand, spells are treated as quick play spells in Duelist Kingdom. There are many cases of this happening, so we know that this isn't a rule break. What's less justifiable is that Yugi activates Polymerization from his hand during Weevil's turn, which isn't allowed. I couldn't find any examples of other spells being activated from the hand, but the best evidence I could of this being a rule break is that Yugi actually summons Dark Sage, which has the effect of letting Yugi activate one spell from their hand during their opponent's turn, which implies that you couldn't normally. So we'll count this as a cheat.
Okay,
Yugi
that makes sense.
Smack You the Magical Mist, which according to Yugi,
more than cheating, that feels like an inconsistency from the anime rules. But you know, I will allow it.
Right, Magical Mist washes the field clean.
Which was important as Great Moth continually weakened Yugi's monster through the air. Okay, sure, I can see this working under the current applications of Great Moth's poisonous scales. Yugi also attempts to argue that Maki the Magical Mist boosts Summon Skull attack, due to it creating a thunderstorm, and the fact that Summon Skull has an electrical attack. This one is also fine, because weirdly enough, Summon Skull does attack with electricity. Moving on to Yugi's duel against Mako, on Mako's turn, he declares an attack on Yugi's Giant Soldier of Stone in defense position. And Yugi changes Giant Soldier of Stone's defense position to attack position, which counts as a cheat because you can't change your monster's position during your opponent's turn.
Okay.
The next cheat is a controversial one. After Yugi changes Giant Soldier of Stone to attack position, this card attacks his spell card, Full Moon, to cause the tide to reverse and a water to reverse, leaving Mako's monsters all exposed from the water, which in turn makes them lose attack due to them being shored. And so Yugi's justification of this is,
as you yourself said before, Mako, it is the moon that controls the ocean.
Mako.
I'm actually going to count this as a cheat.
How is that a cheat? That makes perfect logical sense. I feel like that is not a cheat. Like changing changing the monster to attack position. Now that is cheating, right? Because it was since his turn, right? How could he attack, right? That feels like cheating, not like actually the fact that this destroyed the moon. I don't know,
For
dude.
this is when Yugi first activates Full Moon, the tide doesn't change at all. So on the flip side, if Yugi destroys Full Moon, there should also be no change in the tide. Next up is Yugi's duel against Ghost Kaiba. Yugi uses Spellbinding Circle on Kaiba's Blue Eyes, which causes it to lose 700 attack and prevents it from attacking or changing its battle position.
Alright.
Nowhere on the card does it state that the monster loses 700 attack, and so normally I would count this as a cheat. But because the anime consistently shows Spellbinding Circle reducing a monster's attack by 700
It's
every time
consistent.
Yugi uses it,
Makes
I'm not
sense.
going to count this one. Yugi uses Mystical Elf to boost Blue Eyes' attack by 1100, but Mystical Elf is a normal monster,
Yeah, it doesn't have
and
an
Yugi's
effect.
justification for this is pretty weak. So this one is definitely a stretch, and I'm going to count it as a cheat. An honorable mention is Kaiba hacking Blue Eyes, so it loses attack and eventually blows itself up through plot armor. Now, I'm not going to count this as Yugi cheating, because the entire effect is caused by Kaiba interfering with the duel, not anything Yugi does. Again, this is another controversial one. This duel takes the cake for quite possibly the biggest Duelist Kingdom nonsense. Yugi uses Spellbinding Circle to force Reaper of the cards to attack one of Yugi's cards, which contradicts every other use of Spellbinding Circle. As I mentioned before, the anime always is shown to debuff the monster by 700 attack, and also prevented the affected monster from attacking, so that's a cheat for Yugi for just making up an effect on the spot. Panic swarms the Field of Darkness, which prevents Yugi from seeing what cards are being played, so Yugi uses Sword of Revealing Light to brighten the field. This one makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
as it's in the name.
Yeah.
So
That
I
makes
don't
perfect
mind.
sense.
What I can't let slide is Yugi's next move. He uses Swords of Revealing Light to prevent Panic from attacking for 3 turns, and then uses Catapult Turtle to sacrifice Guy the Dragon Champion to launch an attack on a flotation ring of Castle of Dark Illusions. And I'm going to count this as 4 separate points of cheating. The first
What?
is when Catapult Turtle sacrifices Guy the Dragon Champion. It boosts its attack by 600, which obviously Catapult Turtle doesn't do. And Yugi doesn't even bother giving it an explanation for, and Catapult Turtle
just
never
happens.
does this again in the anime, so I'm counting this one as a cheat. The second one comes from how after Guy's been fired at the castle, the only part of the castle that is damaged is the flotation ring on it. And
Okay, that's a
absolutely
little
nothing
weird, I
else.
guess.
This makes no physical or logical sense, because for the flotation ring to be damaged means that the shield surrounding the monsters, the rest of the castle, or even the monsters themselves didn't get damaged, but only the flotation ring, which, might I add, the shield is what caused the monsters to be trapped under the castle, so we know the shield could be interacted with. The third cheat is Yugi's justification for why the Castle of Dark Illusions is still floating.
Well, the only thing holding up your castle are the swords of revealing light. And when this turn ends, each and every sword will vanish.
Which makes absolutely no sense, because if the monsters are locked inside the swords, then how did the flotation ring fall before the swords expired? And for
No,
the fourth cheat,
dude,
Swords of
dude,
Revealing
what is
Light
this?
disappeared after 2 of Panic's turns, where it should have been.
I like the
fired.
creativity
Even within
though
the
for the
framework of
writers.
Duelist Kingdom
I love the
rules,
creativity
the reasoning
because
for
that is
Yugi's
sounds
attack with
insane.
Catapult Turtle makes no sense, and it's just too egregious to let go. Also, what the hell is flotation ring?
Hey,
I'm
Yugi was using
pretty confident
science,
that this
of
is just a
course.
concept Yugi made up to justify this ass pull of a win. By the way, if you're currently enjoying the video, why not subscribe to the channel?
I'm subscribed,
It
I'm
helps me a
subscribed.
lot
I'm also
and lets me
liking
know
the
this
video,
is the kind of
though.
content that you want to watch.
Yeah.
Next up is Seto's rematch against Yugi. Yugi activates Living Arrow along with Polymerization to fuse
Oh yeah,
Bandit's graveyard to
fusing
Blue
a
Eyes Ultimate
spell
Dragon,
with a
causing
monster
a decrease in attack
and
with
making
Blue
it
Eyes
an
Ultimate
effect that
Dragon
does-
at the end of
yeah.
each of Yugi's end phases. So the actual act of Yugi using Polymerization to fuse Blue Eyes to Mammoth Graveyard is actually fine, as in Duelist Kingdom you could use Polymerization on any 2 cards to create a new fusion. And while I would have been okay with this, as the actual logic behind fusing a pile of bones to Blue Eyes works, what works less is Yugi's actual justification he gives.
Wait, hold on. When I fused Ultimate Dragon with Mama. Wait, I thought it was the arrow was fused.
Except that Mammoth Graveyard is neither dark or a zombie, it's an Earth dinosaur. And this is all based off the anime card, so because Yugi got both the type and attribute wrong here, I'm counting this as a cheat. I'm giving
Sure,
another
dude.
cheat for Yugi using Living Arrow as well, because every time it's used, Yugi's reasoning is way too vague and changes every time. Here, it allows him to use Polymerization on an opponent's monster. The next time, it lets
Wait. Back when I rewatched Duelist Kingdom, I found out Beaver Warrior's original name is Luis. Is that a reference to something, or is he actually? Is that actually the name?
Yugi used one of Pegasus' spell cards after it had already been resolved. The next, it reflected Bandit Keith's spell card back to his monster. So if how its usage does not line up at all with the card's effect, and how Yugi doesn't even justify how this works, I'm counting this as an additional cheat. In Yugi's duel against Mai, he doesn't actually cheat.
The
and
actual
every single
card's-
reasoning he gives
the
is
card's
pretty
actual
solid.
name in
Here,
Japan
Yugi
is
uses
Luis.
Catapult Turtle to destroy Mai's
I don't
mirror
believe
wall,
you.
where even if mirror walls are trapped, Yugi's justification fits and makes sense. My Shadow of Eyes forces Yugi's monsters to attack her, and Yugi plays Mystical Elf, which ignores my spell as Shadow of Eyes only works on female monsters, which again makes sense here. For Yugi versus Joey's duel, Yugi only gets one cheat in this duel. Joey attacks with Thousand Dragon, but in response, Yugi activates Maki the Magical Mist, which blocks Thousand Dragon's attack by extinguishing the flames through the rainwater. It's a fishy explanation because the rainwater is shown only to affect outside of the castle, not inside, but I can see how rainwater can stop the attack of a fire-breathing dragon. Joey manages to affect Time Wizard's effect against Yugi, causing it to age the field, with this effect working on Dark Magician. But then we see that it never actually ended up working as intended, as now Dark Magician turns into another monster, the Dark Sage. This is much of an ass pull as you can get, and it's even worse when you consider Yugi gave this card to Joey. But the idea of a wizard with a millennial worth of knowledge, unfortunately for Joey, is an explanation that makes sense.
Yeah.
Moving on to our final duel in Duelist Kingdom, we have to evaluate in this arc is Yugi versus Pegasus. Like before, Yugi activates Living Arrow with a different effect from its written text. And the explanation doesn't work, so that's an extra count
it's
to
a
the
different
score. The only other
card.
potential cheat is the sequence of events where Yugi activates Multiply and Kuribo.
What my god would never cheat.
Causing Thousand Eyes Restrict to blow up, which all makes sense. We're finally off of the mess of rules in that Duelist Kingdom.
Okay,
brings,
now
and we can
we're playing
enter
with
the more
actual rules.
concrete
Remember
defined rules
when
of Battle
Kaiba
City?
just appeared like Mr. Beast in front of everyone and saying like, we're gonna play with actual rules. We're gonna play with actual rules. That was crazy. Yeah, we should do that.
To a certain point. With this being said, it means that we're now judging Yugi's gameplay based off Battle City rules, so that means no more headaches of wondering what a flotation ring is, or why Maki has a different effect every time it appears on screen. We'll start off Battle City with the very first duel of the entire arc, being Yugi versus Seeker.
To be fair, it makes sense. Yugi has Dark Sage in his deck. Use Time Wizard and bring out Dark Sage to nuke your opponent's weakness monsters. Yeah, but like we just saw a video that show, well, it was an explanation that the monsters from, wait, was Dark Sage like that? Dark Sage was just created at the moment. It wasn't like an actual, it's not an actual card. So it wasn't in the deck. It's just like it's just improv. It's just improv. Oh yeah, he's older and wiser, so he's stronger now. Yeah.
Yugi goes through most of the duel without cheating, but for some incredibly bizarre reason, it seems like Duelist Kingdom shenanigans are still in store, as Yugi makes up an effect where Alpha the Magnet Warrior gains 200 attack because of Summon Skull's electricity, boosting Alpha. The crazy thing though is that Yugi didn't even need to cheat here, because well, if Yugi wasn't a bum of a duelist and used a monster with the lowest attack to attack a defense position monster, he had enough attack to wipe out the Seeker anyways. So this is obviously
it's not a hype though,
as Duelist Kingdom rules are off the table in Battle City. So any attempt at trying to logic your way through a random effect appearing doesn't work. The next duel is Yugi versus Arcana. Arcana activates Dark Magic Curtain to special summon a Dark Magician from his deck during his main phase, then proceeds to attack Yugi during his battle phase. Somehow, even after Dark Magic Curtain's resolution and an entire new phase change, Yugi for whatever reason is able to just activate his opponent's cards as his own to special summon Dark Magician Girl, which is a pretty clear violation of the rules. This move gives Yugi two cheats. For the first one, you can't just use the opponent's spell to special summon your own monster, and the second is that Dark Magic Curtain's card effect states that you can special summon Dark Magician.
I assume this is the same as in the anime, right? That's what we're talking, because this is the actual card, right? But we're talking about the one in the anime. It's probably different. Oh my god. That's even more of a cheat though. That would mean Yugi left Dark Sage in his deck knowing Joey will keep his Time Wizard. Yeah, but it wasn't part of the deck. Season 1 was the definition of Yugi using science. How is it really cheating when he's using actual scientific facts? Like, it makes sense. Yeah. Improv is valid in here. It makes sense. It makes sense. Scientific. I wouldn't use that term, but I get what you mean. It's more like logical sense. I love how you can see Takahashi making up more concrete rules in the series went on. Yeah, of course. Like the game, like actually came out like an actual card, so they actually need real rules. Was there any rule in Duelist Kingdom about side decking? I don't think so. I don't remember, but like there was no side decking involved in this, because that Dark Sage is not an actual card, right? It's not an actual card. It's just like something that came out at in the moment. Okay, but in fairness, I cheat in that duel, in that Arcana duel if my legs were on the line. Yeah, I mean, totally. Also, Arcana was also cheating. He was actually cheating because he got like the borders of his cards, right? Like he was actually cheating. So I don't know. I honestly will give Yugi a pass for whatever he makes up at the moment.
Just any spellcaster, so Yugi wasn't allowed to special summon the Dark Magician Girl here. The third cheat is when Arcana activates Ectoplasm.
He rigs his hand,
Card
yeah,
which
exactly.
lets the turn player choose 2 types of monsters to be converted into Ectoplasm, whatever that means. An opponent loses life points equal to the attributed monster's attack. Arcana attributes 2 monsters, so the first type, Fiend, which does inflict damage to Yugi, but then Arcana sacrifices his Dark Magician to deal damage to Yugi, which should have caused Yugi to lose the duel. But for whatever reason, Yugi's Dark Magician absorbs the damage which Yugi should have taken, which is just not an effect in the card. In Yugi's duel against Strings, we get a record number of times that Yugi cheats in a single game. Yugi says that Buster Blade gains 500 attack for each dragon-type monster in the grave.
Okay.
However, he also applies it to Slifer the Sky Dragon. But Slifer the Sky Dragon, despite its name, isn't a dragon type. It's a divine beast.
Oh, interesting.
Which should have triggered Slifer's effect to decrease Kuryu's attack by 2000 and cause it to get destroyed. But Yugi justifies this by saying as Nightmare Steel Cage prevents attacks, it prevents Slifer's second math effect from activating. This is wrong. Nightmare Steel Cage only stops attacks, not any effects that destroy monsters.
Okay.
Probably the most egregious is Yugi activating Magic Cylinder and Spellbinding Circle on Slifer the Sky Dragon, which counts as 2 cheats here. Spellbinding Circle shouldn't work on Slifer, as we've seen Mirror Force not working on Obelisk when it attacks.
I thought that was an effect of Obelisk.
I'm afraid that your weak trap card won't work.
Magic Cylinder negates and redirects Slifer's attack. While you could make an argument that this card doesn't affect the gods directly and affects their attacks, this again is inconsistent with the previous examples of traps affecting the gods. Yugi uses Brain Control to take control of Revival Jam, which is fine, but here Yugi cheats in 2 ways. First is that Slifer's effect gets procced when Revival Jam is on Yugi's field, but that isn't how Brain Control works. It simply just swaps the side of the field Revival Jam is on. It doesn't count as a summon, so Slifer's effect shouldn't have worked here. The second is that even if Slifer's effect does proc after Revival Jam gets destroyed, this card gets sent to Marik's grave, and when it hits the grave, Revival Jam's effect causes it to get special summoned back to Marik's field, not Yugi's. As Brain Control doesn't make you become the owner for the rest of the game. In Yugi's duel against Loomis and Umbra, he cheats a total of 4 times. Yugi activates cards.
But it was so hyped though. It was so hyped when it happened in the anime. Fun fact, in the manga, Duel Disk had 5 zones total for everything. Monsters, spell, and traps. But they treat the duels with IRL rules. It's why some players don't use cards they could to win. That sounds really interesting. Like, why Strings didn't summon more monsters to end Yugi alongside? Because he didn't draw them, maybe? I don't know. Actually, the main controller thing is what? Slifer in the anime and manga is a dragon and a divine beast, if I recall correctly. Oh, it's both? Being a god card was a status, not a type. That makes sense to me. Also, anime cards also have different effects. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, that's why it's confusing, because sometimes the video shows some effects of the actual cards, and sometimes it says like, oh, this is from the anime, so I don't know if it's actually. I don't know. This is in real life version of the cards compared to the anime versions. Yeah, it's like inconsistent.
To the graveyard, which is fine. Its effect allows it to equip itself to a monster and lower that monster's attack by 500. What isn't fine is that Yugi never mentions this effect at all. He only reveals it after Blue Eyes attacks, which is obviously just cheating. You can't just hide an activated effect and reveal it whenever it's convenient for you. Yugi summons Valkyrie and a Magnet Warrior by tributing the 3 Magnet Warriors, but the cheat comes from where Mask of Restrict is on the field, which doesn't let either player tribute summon monsters. This one is pretty egregious, as clearly on a Valkyrie and a Magnet Warrior card, it specifically uses the word tribute. Loomis and Umbra
but it's a special summon.
Call Yugi out on this, but
hold on. Nearplay can tribute cards. No, it's not that you cannot tribute. Like, okay. I guess it
uses
says
the word
that.
tribute. Loomis and Umbra even tried to call Yugi out on this, but he tries to justify it by saying,
Card only prevents us from sacrificing. But that's not the only way to summon powerful monsters, Umbra.
which is just a cop-out, as it doesn't matter what you want to call it. Valkyrion's card effect states directly that you will be tributing monsters. Yugi uses diffusion on Valkyrion and Magna Warrior, but it's clearly not.
Yeah, it's not a
It's
fusion.
an effect monster in the anime, so this combo shouldn't have worked. Another cheat is that Yugi activates diffusion to summon a Magna Warrior's back, but they should have returned to Yugi's field, not Umbra's, which is crucial as Kaiba then used 3 tributes to summon Obelisk, giving them the win here. Up next is Yugi's duel against Joey possessed by Mara.
You know what I'm thinking right now? I'm thinking like if I ever rewatch the original anime, like I wouldn't be able to actually enjoying knowing these things. So yeah.
Yugi uses D-Spell to negate the effects of Graceful Dice, but
That
this isn't how
doesn't
D-Spell works.
negate.
D-Spell doesn't negate, it only
destroys.
So in this case, Yugi only would have destroyed Graceful Dice, but he wouldn't have been able to stop the effect of Graceful Dice from working. The second cheat is that the end result of the duel should have been a loss, not a draw, as Yugi's life points reach 0 first, and after this happens, the duel ends. And Joey wouldn't have been able to equalize his life points for them to reach 0 as well. In Yugi's duel against Kaiba in the Colosseum, we see Kaiba summon Obelisk, and then Slifer's second math effect activates, causing it to lose 2000 attack. This shouldn't have worked, as literally in the same duel, Obelisk's attack destruction effect doesn't work on Slifer, which is inconsistent with what we see here. Either Slifer's effect doesn't work on Obelisk, or Obelisk would have been able to destroy Slifer in this case. There's no justification for why Slifer's effect works on Obelisk, but Obelisk's effect doesn't work back. So I'm going to count this as a cheat. Kaiba activates Flute of Summoning Dragon, and again, Yugi gets to use his opponent's card out of nowhere, and uses it to summon Red Eye's Black Dragon, which obviously isn't allowed.
Where did that come from? If you recall, you used your Flute of Summoning Dragon to summon your Blue Eyes to the field. But you may have forgotten that your flute works on my hand as well.
You can't use
What? Is that a field spell or something that allows like everyone to use it? What is that? Where did that come from? There is actually a Yu-Gi-Oh marathon going on. Yeah, I've seen it. There is like every episode, like it's like in the dub. It's on YouTube. I always watch the Yu-Gi-Oh marathon repeat. Flute in the anime works different in real version. It's a legit move. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Like the rules are just different. The cards work different. They have different effects. So I don't know where this is coming from. It's consistent rule in the anime that if you take control of an opponent monster, it goes to your graveyard for the rest of the duel. Oh, really? So that is a rule from the anime. Interesting. And it's consistent. Then it shouldn't count as cheating. Loomis and Umbra also tribute monster for the ritual summon. So whatever, man. So yeah, I guess there is a difference between tribute summon and, you know, using the monster as tribute for an effect, right? It should be a different thing. And maybe it wasn't written properly on the cards, but it's implied because of consistency, right? Maybe? I don't know. Am I am I being dense on purpose? I don't know. He's not understanding how the anime versions work compared to the real versions. He's swinging a bit back and forth from giving a hyper-realistic analysis and using anime rules, I think. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Card to summon your own monsters. Another thing to note is that during this duel, Kaiba activates Spell Sanctuary, a card which lets spells get activated during the opponent's turn, which implied that before.
I wonder if that is going to be
spells
addressed in the
used during
comments.
Opponent's turn, it was illegal. I've decided to assume that all spells being spell speed 4 was legal, mainly due to the overwhelming number of times this has been confirmed. And then for finale in Battle City, I only managed to spot 2 cheats. Yugi sets a card without looking at it in the spell and trap zone, and I'm counting this as a cheat because if it was a monster card, this would have counted as him misrepresenting.
No. I refuse. That is the heart of the cards.
What he had on the field. Yugi uses Ragnarok to banish his entire deck to destroy Winged Dragon of Ra, which again, destruction effects don't work on the gods, and this effect shouldn't have been able to destroy Ra. And in the case that
that's just believing.
Does anything special, in the original show, Yugi explicitly says that Ragnarok destroys Ra.
When your monsters are destroyed, don't do it. Even if it's a god?
So
what do you mean?
In the entirety of Virtual World Arc, I could only find one single instance of cheating in the entirety of Virtual World, and that's an attack duel against the Big Five, where Yugi summons Dark Flare Knight with Polymerization and attacks the same turn it's summoned. In the anime during Battle City, fusion monsters couldn't attack on the same turn they were summoned, and so Yugi attacking with Dark Flare Knight was illegal. You could argue that as this wasn't in Battle City and in the separate arc, the fusion summoning restriction might have been taken off, and that maybe this rule didn't apply to Virtual World, except that we see Seto Kaiba using Quick Attack against Noah Kaiba, a card which lets fusion monsters attack on the same turn they are summoned.
Okay.
Quick attack magic card. I can attack right now.
Implying that any cases of this happening without this card broke the rules. Moving on to the Waking the Dragons arc, we'll start with Yugi's duel against Raphael. Yugi first special summons Kuriba Babylon by using Kuriba as effect to banish the 5 Kuriba brothers.
Wait, this was in the anime? I don't remember this at all.
From the field. Yugi then later activates Kree Babylon's effect to remove it from play to special summon back the 5 Kribo brothers. Later, Yugi then again activates Kriba's effect to summon Kree Babylon from the banished zone. But
what is
this actually was a case of Yugi cheating. Kriba's effect only special summons Kree Babylon from the deck and the graveyard, not the banished zone. The only way this combo would have worked is if he runs another copy of Kree Babylon in his deck, but this seems pretty unlikely, so it's a case of Yugi cheating. Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight gets destroyed because Yugi activates Seal of Orichalcos, but there's an effect that lets it return to the field after it gets destroyed, and so Yugi would have had an empty field after this. In Yugi's duel against the fake Yugi, he states that Divine Wind's effect inflicts any damage the opponent's monster's effect would inflict damage to you, doubled back to the opponent. But this is a flat out lie. It instead reflects any damage that the player would have taken onto the opponent plus 500. This duel is probably one of the most insane duels in the anime, where so many times Yugi just objectively breaks the rules.
Okay, can't wait to see it.
Duel's Kingdom. Yugi activates Relay Soul, a card which lets him special summon one monster from his hand. But you lose the duel if the special summon monster is destroyed. The cheating comes from when he activated it. His life points reach 0 before the activation of this card, and as Relay Soul is activated after his life points reach 0, he would have lost the duel at that point, and wouldn't have been able to play any cards past this point. Just bear with me for this next combo, because it's incredibly convoluted.
What?
Where I think Yugi cheats in almost every conceivable way here. Legendary Knight Critias attacks Divine Serpent Ge, but then Yugi activates
he's point 0 now?
Critias, letting it absorb the effect of attack guidance barrier from his hand. Now Yugi can choose another monster on the field.
Well, these are all anime cards, right? These are not real cards.
The attack will be directed to the chosen monster, and so Yugi chooses Hermos. And Hermos's effect is that whenever it gets attacked, its attack stat gets tripled, and then it gets reflected back to Critias. But since Critias has just been attacked, its absorbed effect activates again, reflecting it back to Hermos. And again, Hermos's effect activates, causing its attack to be tripled. This causes an infinite loop, where Hermos's attack reaches infinity. Tamiz then activates effect, absorbing Critias and Hermos to special summon a Knight of Destiny, letting it absorb the combined attack of the 3 knights and attack and destroy Divine Serpent Ge. And within this entire sequence of events, I found a total of 5 cheats. The first is that Critias absorbs a card's effect from his hand, which he uses on attack guidance armor. However, if we look at attack guidance armor's effect, this shouldn't have worked, as it only works when an opponent's monster declares an attack, not when your monster attacks the opponent's. The second is that attack guidance armor also requires a defense position monster you control, and so Critias wouldn't have been able to redirect the attack to Hermos. The third cheat is that obviously, your opponent cannot reach infinite attack points by stacking them over and over, as technically Yugi could have just let the attack stack continuously for a long time, but it always would have been a value substantially lower than infinity. Fourth cheat is how Hermos is even able to reflect the attack of Critias back in the first place. Yugi sends 3 Magnet Warriors to the grave as part of Hermos' effect, but there isn't anything that explains how or what these cards are related to in Hermos' attack deflection, and seems to imply that it's due to them being magnets, which is a whole nother can of worms I don't want to deal with. The fifth and final cheat of this combo is that Yugi claims
Divine Serpent's strength may be infinite, but that's still not enough. For now, there's a force beyond infinity.
This just mathematically makes no sense to even attempt to claim, and
it's infinity plus 1. Yeah, we love that. We love to see that. In fairness, the real cards came out years after the anime showcase. Totally. So I don't know where are the real effects. I know you can read the effects in the cards and stuff. So I don't know. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt here.
is just untrue. For the only cheat in the Grand Championship arc, when Yugi activates Monster Reincarnation, he doesn't actually return Dark Magician to his deck. And for the final and last duel of the original series, we have Yugi's duel against the Pharaoh. For this, we will count both Atem and Yugi cheating as going towards the final count. The first cheat that will count is Yugimoto using Ground Erosion on Obelisk, which Yugi tries to justify by saying that the trap affects the monster zone Obelisk is in, not Obelisk itself.
You know what? I'll take it.
Flimsy reasoning, and Obelisk should still be unaffected by this trap. The Pharaoh uses the effect of Slifer to reduce the effect of each of Yugi's Magnet Warriors after they all get summoned. But Yugi counters with Magnet Force, which he claimed to redirect Slifer's attack back to the three gods. This again is a cheat, as the Pharaoh states in his duel,
traps don't work on Obelisk.
And so Magnet Force shouldn't have been able to redirect Slifer's
I
effect.
guess not.
It also contradicts Yugi's earlier assertion that the second math ability of Slifer is an attack, not an effect, which Magnet Force implies. As his card directly states, if it's targeted by an effect. Magnet Force is also treated as a continuous trap, even though it's a normal trap, and stays on the field for longer than the turn, which again is a cheat. Slifer gets summoned through the effect of Summoning Clock, a card which lets him special summon monsters from your hand equal to the number of turn counters. This is all fine and well, but as we know if the gods are special summoned, then they are sent to the grave at the end of the turn, but this never happens in a duel. Yugimoto activates Mirage Ruler, a card which returns all monsters destroyed this turn back to the field, and he returns Valkyrion and Silent Swordsman back to the field. Throughout the duel, Silent Swordsman has been gaining attack during each of Yugi's standby phases, so if Silent Swordsman was removed from the field, it would no longer have its boosted attack, and once Yugi summoned it again, it should have had 1000 attack again.
He did return Dark Magician to the deck. He special summoned it by a skilled Dark Magician, so it was a legit move. This guy should have actually studied up. I wonder if how this video was made. Do you have to watch the whole series, right? And paying a lot of attention to every card effect, which feels like a lot.
Activates Monster Reborn during the battle phase, but Battle City rules no longer apply, and so the Pharaoh shouldn't have been able to activate a spell as a quick play. Yugimoto activates Spell Textbook, which lets him discard his entire hand to draw one card into Card of Sanctity. The issue is specifically with Spell Textbook, as its effect states that you can discard all the cards in your hand, but given that Yugi has no cards in his hand, he cannot satisfy the requirements to activate it, and so this was an illegal move. Spell Textbook on a wiki does have the if any clause, which would make it a legal play. If you take the literal Japanese translation
that's what I want in every single one of this, right? Okay, so this is an actual explanation. You can read the Japanese card and see what it actually does.
The if any. That isn't the last time we see Yugi duel in the anime, as in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX he duels against Jaden, where he goes through most of the duel without cheating, except for one especially blatant combo. Jaden activates the card Code Change, which lets him change a type in a card effect to be any type of his choosing, which in this case was Heroes Guild, and then Yugi responds by playing Mystical Ref Panel, which I'll be giving 3 docs for. The first is that Yugi wasn't even able to
This card is not even clear what it does in the real world. Like with the actual ruling, this card is actually
and then Yugi responds
oh my
by
god.
Mystical Ref Panel.
This card is controversial, right? Because it targets the how is it? Like any effect that targets a duelist, it does to the other one or something. I don't know.
Which I'll be giving 3 docs for. The first is that Yugi wasn't even able to activate Mystical Ref Panel, as the card text of Mystical Ref Panel requires a target of Code Change to be able to be applied.
This is the opponent's spell, so it's just different.
Case, Yugi would have needed to swap Code Change's target to instead be card on the field other than Heroes Guild, which now run on. So the conditions to activate Mystical Ref Panel weren't satisfied in the first place. The second is that Yugi uses Mystical Ref Panel like a continuous trap card, and it stays on the field for the rest of the game. But Mystical Ref Panel is a normal trap, and should have been sent to the grave after Yugi activated it. And even on a card that he did end up using Code Change on, Yugi still used it wrong, as Dark Renewal's Japanese effect is this, and makes no mention of the type of monster in that special summoned from the grave being Spellcaster. And if we look at the TCG version, its effect specifically mentions a Dark Spellcaster, which Yugi still cannot summon Slifer with. as even if Yugi used Code Change on Dark Renewal, he could then only summon a Dark Divine Beast monster, not a Divine Beast monster. Another cheat I found in this duel is when Impact Flip sends Beast of Gilfer from the deck to the grave, and then during Yugi's turn, his Dark Magician attacks Elemental Hero Blade Edge, and only when Jaden attacks into Dark Magician does Gilfer's effect get shown. Again, like before, Yugi's hiding knowledge from Jaden until the last possible moment, so this counts as a cheat. Moving on to the big screen, we'll start.
Oh wow, the movie!
Alright. Attacked and drops all his cards. You can see for a brief moment that he loses 2 copies of the Winged Dragon of Ra and King's Knight. The movie novelization confirms that he only has 1 King's Knight, and obviously there's only 1 copy of each god in existence. It almost definitely is an animation error, but it still counts as a cheat.
How would you want to count that as a cheat? How? What is this? This is so nitpicky, dude. You know that it's an animation error. You just said that it's an animation error. What do you mean? What do you mean? Hello, I'm back. Yeah, okay. All right, laser. There is a whole ass document on what cards target a player and what cards don't, just because of the red panel. Yeah. I've heard about that, bro. It's not cheating, but it's clearly how the anime works. Most of the cards don't explain what their cards do. Yeah, exactly. Everything wrong with logic. Yeah. Exactly. It feels like that. It's so nitpicky. Like,
Witcheries of his own, as he's shown to draw a diffusion wave motion, but out of nowhere he activates double spell.
I activate double spell,
which he was never shown to have at any point before this, and his hand was also empty. This also isn't really a cheat. When Yugi uses Kaiba Return from a different dimension, he mentions that Kaiba wanted a perfect victory.
When Kaiba spoke of dealing me the perfect defeat,
which was fine, except for the part that Kaiba never said his part out loud. He only fought it.
No, I wanted a perfect victory.
Almost definitely a continuity error, but it is funny to think that Yugi was reading Kaiba's mind the entire time. For Bonds Beyond Time...
Wait, is this video meant to be ironic? Chat, I think the video is meant to be ironic. I think I'm taking it too seriously. Okay, maybe we have been the ones nitpicking. I feel like, wait, I think like the video... I think, wait, am I stupid? I might be stupid. Hold on.
Jaden and Yusei's duel against Paradox, Yugi commits a sort of half cheat here. Jaden activates Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, letting him add a Kuriboh or Wing Kuriboh from his deck to his hand, but instead, Yugi adds Kuriboh to his hand.
We have been bamboozled, right?
Rules, if an effect would special summon from the deck or add a card from the deck to the hand, the currently acting player performs the effect using their own deck. So as Yugi was the one who activates Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, it would be him getting Wing Kuriboh from his deck, not Yugi. There's a couple problems with adding this to the cheat counter though, as Jaden was also just as complicit in this cheat, as he's the one who's activated it. And while I'm using the official rules, there's nothing guaranteeing that the anime rules also use them, so I won't count this one. So with that all being said, right? Yugi cheats 56 times.
Shut up.
But there's also another thing I want to point out, and it's that at the end of the ceremony duel, Shizu makes this comment.
You're wrong. You see, the Pharaoh didn't predict what his next card would be. His willpower made it so.
Which makes all these duels like here, or here, or here, or here, extremely suspect, as Yugi is basically able to cheat any card he wants to the top of the deck.
That's the heart of the cards. It's just believing.
Card without looking at it, and already knowing what it is.
It's
which
not
means that
literal.
in every single duel, in every single draw, there's always the question of, did Yugi cheat this draw out? But you might say, an anime drawing cards is technically a skill, which sure is true. But what Yugi did was the equivalent of using steroids, given that he used an ancient Egyptian artifact, which gave him access to
it's comedy. It's meant to be comedy. Okay, I see.
Fate and even duel for him, which in my personal opinion definitely counts as cheating. After all, it basically means that whenever you're dueling against Yugi, you're technically dueling against 2 different people. So to answer the question I asked at the start of the video, how many times does Yugi cheat? Given that he duels with Pharaoh basically every duel,
yeah, exactly,
the real answer is simple. Yugi's cheated in every single duel. And if you want to see why Yugi cheats so much, it's because his entire deck makes absolutely no sense.
Oh yeah, we should watch
click on
that,
this video on the right to see why Yugi's deck was so bad that he had to cheat in basically every duel to win.
Wow. I mean, sure. Like, I honestly... Have you heard of like post-ironic memes? Like meta-ironic? Like, you don't even know if it's a joke or not anymore. Right? I love that. I think like this is one of those videos. Like, if this is like rage baiting me on purpose, Let's see. The real villain in all of this are the magic hologram systems that apparently works off honor system and just accepts whatever anyone says. True. I really find it weird how people say Yugi cheats when literally no character followed the rules in the early stages of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, there were no rules. The rules is like you can make up stuff, right? And Yugi is just better at improvising. What can I say? Wait, people are not talking about it. Yugi giving Joy time wizard only, to be fair, Ragnarok killing God is very on point. The fact that Duelist Kingdom, wait, nobody's talking about it. That's so weird. Am I missing the joke? You misunderstand the Mako scene. Basically, Ryukashin had a tidal wave field effect that Mako explicitly notes was boosted by Yugi's full moon. He thinks Yugi will use Giant Soldier of Stone to create more land zones for his land monster. So he moves his aquatic creatures into the surrounding monster zones flooded by Ryukashin's moon boosted effect. So when Yugi destroys the moon, all that happens is that the field returns to normal. These Mako monsters are deep in Yugi's territory. They are all beached. It's not actually a cheat beyond attacking your own card. But why wouldn't that be possible in Duelist Kingdom? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I also can excuse that Jaden and Yugi Kuribo cheat since all three protagonists share the same field. So it makes sense they theoretically share that deck if it affects a line. Sure. Why not? I can see it. Which Yu-Gi-Oh series has the most duels from Yu-Gi-Oh everything? What? I think the creator had good points, but overcooked on some points. Yeah, I agree. Some parts are like really interesting to think about. I love that. But some more feels like really just nitpicking. I don't know what to tell you. Is it cheating though when no character interjects or the holograms perfectly displays whatever is going on? That is an interesting point. Screw the rules. There is a couple of details that can get rid of a lot of this. For instance, the Duelist discs have the ability to detect cheating and won't render illegal plays. This is shown in both the anime, with Joey trying to summon a monster illegality, not fully used in Battle City rules against Asperova. And in the manga, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! R with Kid Yu rematch. Okay, the manga shouldn't count. As such, for every instance where the monsters are shown doing exactly what Yugi claims they should be doing, like Red Eyes and Dark Magician Girl being summoned off his opponent's card effect, they are simply cases of the card effects in the anime being different from the IRL versions, and Yugi being more knowledgeable about the cards than his opponents. Or errors in the writing team for being inconsistent when adapting the manga, like Magnet Force deflecting Slifer Second Mouth Blast, or translating from Japan, such as how the Divine Wind boost the damage is reflecting. Well, yeah, obviously these are all errors in the script, right? It's not actually cheating, right? That I think like we can all agree on that. We're not actually claiming that Yu is like literally cheating. Like it feels like cheating because he's breaking the rules of the game, but that's because the anime is inconsistent. Yeah, I don't know. I still think it's a funny video. I think it's still funny to think about like how inconsistent it is. I wouldn't call it cheating though. But yeah, cool video either way. So yeah, thank you for recommending this video. Thank you for recommending this video. Also, Duelist Kingdom is why Duelist of the Roses is such a good game. Oh, yeah, okay, I love that. I actually love that then. Okay, Laser. Sorry for like disregarding kinda your comments. It's like we were talking about something and then you brought a completely different topic. So let me read everything again. Hello, I'm back. I just finished Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything via GX Watch Along Season 1 finale. Okay. On Twitch. Thank you for sharing that. Paladin of the White Dragon wasn't counted for Blue Eyes shining effect in the movie. I have no idea. Which Yu-Gi-Oh! Series has the most duels from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything? Every series except Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush, which at the time when that show wasn't finished yet. What? Sorry, I'm still confused. I'm so sorry. I don't know what we're talking about. I think the creator had good points, but okay, I already read that. My bad. The Pharaoh can wheel his draws out, but he cannot wheel out the exact game-winning card. He can only wheel out a card that will keep him on the duel. Okay, I like that. I don't know if that's established or how exactly, but that makes perfect sense in my eyes. I don't know. Going by the logic they use in the anime, Mirror Force affects the monster since it tries to destroy them directly, but the magnet cards affects the attack by sending it back to the opponent's monster. So the latter can indeed take damage from Egyptian god cards. We shouldn't watch the anime. We shouldn't try to make sense of the anime. We should just respect it as, you know, art of farming and stuff. Yeah. XD. What else can we watch before we go? Dude, these videos are so long, dude. Let's watch this one. This one is really short, and then we watch a long one. Okay, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush is the most recent anime series that finished last year. It has Rush duels, and it is a sequel to Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. Okay. So that's the one that has the most duels? Or no, every series except Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush, which has the time. Finish. I understand. I understand. I understand what you're trying to say. I'm so sorry. I get it. Like I'm reading it and like I don't know how to say this. Like it makes sense what you're saying, right? I understand what you're saying, but I don't know what you mean. Like, why are you saying it? I don't understand. I'm so sorry. Well, if you watch it all, you can usually tell what cheating is and what isn't. You can get the feel out, right? If the show makes it clear that the opponent is cheating and that is bad, then yeah, they are cheating and that is bad. But like, the things that Yugi does are inconsistency in the anime. They are not actually cheating. That's what I think that makes sense. I don't know. True. Funniest thing is that the guy counted less cheats than what Yugi actually did. I meant to say at the time Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush wasn't even finished when the video was uploaded. Okay. But I I'm sorry. I get it. I understand that. I understand that. Okay, let's watch this video. This is from a small creator. Interesting. But if I ordered that wrong, no, it's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right, let's stop this thing. Chad, remember that you can suggest videos in the Discord. I think it's pinned in the pin message. Will be the link. Stream spam. Oh yeah, Beaver Warrior translated Luis Ruizu. Okay, that's Beaver Warrior, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. That's Beaver Warrior. His name is Luis. There is nothing that we can do about it. We just have to accept it. That's just what it is. Beaver Warrior's name is Luis. Sure. Oh my god. But I'm pretty sure you're not watching them all today, but is there a long queue? It's insanely long. So I'm from now on I'm just watching the ones that I think are gonna be like more like interesting. And maybe I will watch the other ones in my own time. But on stream I have to like I have to think about the time that we have, right? In order to watch just the best ones. Hold on, I'm gonna run an ad really quick. That's literally how Luis looks like from now on. Oh my god, why the hell, dude? Why is it? This game is so weird. That's why we love it, right? Because it's super weird, but still. Anyways. Oh no, wait, hold on. 30 seconds. Need to drink water too. Okay, after this, I think we're gonna watch like this one that I've been meaning to watch like a long time ago. One of my beats from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything was what was the longest? Okay, one of my beats. Okay, so one of the beats that you recommended was that. Is that what you mean? So you're asking me to react to that one? I'm looking it up right now because oh my god, there is so many. Wait, I didn't put it here. The structure deck tier list. Wait, what? Oh, that's the one. That's the one. I see, I see. Alright. Yu-Gi-Oh! Theory Giliaster hit list. I don't know what this is. I have no idea where we're talking about here.
Chris here, bringing you all another video. This video is actually going to be somewhat of a continuation of a previous video that I worked on before, which was the tragic fate of Yugimoto. In that video, I briefly touched upon the Zero Reverse disaster and the group behind it, that being Iliaster. Well, I think there's way more to the story than meets the eye, which I will get into throughout the course of this.
Alright, let's watch this one first then.
Hello everyone, Underdog Chris here, back to bring you all another video. This time, I will be pitching a theory that I've had for years, which is Yugimoto's tragic fate after his time in the Duel Monsters anime concluded. And note that I actually said the anime, and this is for a few reasons.
The manga is different?
Now, one could argue that Yugi has gone through no such tragedies considering the Dark Side of Dimensions movie gives the DM cast a proper send-off. However, people do tend to forget that the Dark Side of Dimensions movie was a continuation of the manga story, not the anime. And we know as such because of Kaiba's hyperfixation on wanting to rematch the Pharaoh and not acknowledging Yugi's strength until the tail end of the movie. And for some reason, the anime made the decision to have Seto Kaiba present during the Millennium World arc when the gang goes back in time to ancient Egypt.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, chat. I'm so sorry. I will be back really quick. I'll be back really quick. I'm so sorry. Chat, I have a situation. Okay, let me see. Chat. You know, sometimes things happen, right? And I have to end the stream earlier today. Sorry that I couldn't watch everything. I'm gonna try to compensate it next time. I will try to. Yeah, I have to go. I will try to make like a longer stream next time to actually finish like most of the videos. Maybe next week we can have multiple React streams. But for now, I have to take a little break. And I will come... I'll come back later. Oh, chat, by the way. On Tuesday, it's still a regular stream, like the reacting to your replays and stuff. And obviously on Friday we're gonna be playing K9. So yeah, I'm really looking for, right? That's the word, right? Looking for. No. Is it? Whatever, dude. Yeah, no, don't worry. Looking forward. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward for the K9 stream. Yeah. Looking forward. Thank you. I don't know what happened to me. My brain is lagging. My brain is lagging so badly right now. But yeah, I will see you next time. Bye. Bye.